Warm greetings from the high 10. It is Everyday Shenanigans, and thanks for joining me on this very early Monday morning. I meant to get on yesterday, but had some other obligations, so I decided to go ahead and rest up and come on this late morning. This is a three-part compilation video. As most of you know, Gabby Petito was laid to rest yesterday. The FBI has returned to the Laundrie'S home for a second time gathering evidence. And also, what about us? What about our Black missing persons? What will be done about the numerous African-American people who have gone missing and they have not gotten the just due of their name being put in the media, either local and or national? And that is the set information that I will be bringing to you. So this is a three-part compilation video. I decided to go ahead and put them all together. Thank you all so much for joining me. So I know it's late in the morning. Thank you so much. Hello, Soul Survivor. Hello, Julie. Hello, Ocean. Thank you. Thank you all so much. Try to play a video if I can.
To help protect the young and young at heart.
1 second. Thank you. What are you all doing up this time of morning? You all should be sleeping. I had a very busy afternoon, so that's why I wasn't able to get on yesterday as I wanted to. Okay. I thought they was going to play audio from this, but it was showing the family gathering for the 22-year-old blogger's murder. They're showing people. I thought maybe somebody was going to be speaking. But anyway, when you open up this said information, you can USA Today is the source. You can watch it. It says the services took place near Bayport Blue Point community on Long Island, where Petito grew up. And you'll see some things hung on a fence pertaining to Miss Petito. One of the posters with her standing in front of those wings. You can, and other little mementos pertaining to her. I'm going to go ahead and read you the said information. Thank you all for joining me. USA Today is the source. She touched the world. Family friends paid tribute to Gabby Petito at New York funeral. A line of mourners wrapped around a funeral home in Holbrook, New York, as friends and family bid an emotional farewell to Gabby Petito on Sunday. Funeral services were being held Sunday in New York for Gabby Petito, the 22-year-old blogger whose murder, while on a cross-country adventure, fueled intense interest across the nation and spurred a manhunt for her missing fiance and now wanted man. A line of mourners wrapped around the funeral home and groups of firefighters were seen filing past. A fire truck sat on each side of the building, each with its ladder raised. Across the street, a chain link fence was adorned with posters featuring Petito's image and messages such as "She touched the world." Petito's father, Joseph, told a crowd gathered at the funeral home Sunday that the day was about remembering his daughter, not relishing in the sadness of her death. When you leave here today, be inspired by what she brought to the table, because the entire planet knows this woman's name now, and she's inspired a lot of women and a lot of men to do what's best for them first. He said, according to the NBC New York. I couldn't be more proud as a father. Her stepfather, Jim Schmidt, offered a similar message. It's okay to mourn for Gabby, and it's okay to feel sorrow and pain, but we want to celebrate her and how she lived her life. Schmidt said his stepdaughter was an example for us all, and she adventured and enjoyed every moment of this beautiful world, according to NBC New York. The services were held in Holbrook, New York, near the Bayport Blue Point community where Petito grew up and became the high school sweetheart of Brian Laundrie before the couple moved to Florida. Laundrie was last seen 12 days ago when he told his parents he was going hiking in the Carlton Reserve, a sprawling wilderness area and wetland near his home in Northport. Authorities have been searching the reserve area for more than a week and were back this weekend. TV personality Dwayne Lee Chapman, Dog the Bounty Hunter, joined the search in recent days and promised to nab Laundrie before his 24th birthday on November 18th. Chapman was seen Saturday, banging on the door to the home Petito and Laundrie shared with Laundrie's parents. The reason I went to Mr. Christopher Laundrie is I carry a reputation with me, he told Fox News Digital moments later. The reputation is he gives you a second chance. He's going to get you, but he gives you a second chance. Chapman told the New York Post he's not convinced that Laundrie is in the 25,000-acre reserve. He said he's already received hundreds of tips on his own hotline indicating Laundrie was on the Appalachian Trail where he had camped for months at a time in the past. That's what he does. He's a wilderness guy, Chapman told the Post. Laundrie, 23, left from Long Island with Petito in July on a months-long journey bound for Oregon. Laundrie returned to Florida alone September 1st. Petito's body was found near a campground in Wyoming a week ago. Laundrie refused to talk to law enforcement during the search for Petito, and he disappeared before her body was found. An indictment released Thursday by the U.S. District of Wyoming accused Laundrie of unauthorized use of a Capital One debit card and several accounts involving more than $1,000. The indictment also charges Laundrie with unauthorized access of a device and says he used the bank accounts without permission from August 30th through September 1st. Okay, USA Today is the source for that said information. Thank you. I've got 22 viewing. So what's interesting now is I learned that this trip was bound for Oregon. I had not heard that before. So mercy, that's even farther, as most of you know where Oregon is. It's at the far west part of the United States, sitting up under Washington State. So mercy, new information. And I guess Mr. Dog, the bounty hunter, has decided to join the ranks. I don't know if some people feel like he should be joining the ranks. Was he asked to join the ranks by the Petito family? It doesn't state in this commentary that he was asked by the family. But one could say, would he be well received knocking on their door? Because naturally, these people have not spoken to the public, the Laundrie's. So what are they going to care that Mr. Dog is knocking on their door? They don't want anyone there. And they sure as hell don't want the FBI and the news people there. So they're not going to care about a reality TV star that's a bounty hunter knocking on their door. But that's the said information by USA Today. Miss Petito laid to rest. Mr. Dog has entered into this new Circus Act pertaining to the search for Mr. Laundrie, and also the FBI has returned to his home. And I'm going to bring you that said information pertaining to the FBI returning to the said house. Thank you all so much for joining me. This is by the New York Post. FBI returns to Brian Laundrie's home in Gabby Petito case. The FBI was back at the Florida home of Brian Laundrie's parents Sunday as the massive manhunt for the missing 23-year-old continues in the death of Gabby Petito. Two FBI agents arrived at the Northport home shortly before 1 p.m. to gather Laundrie's personal belongings for DNA testing, the family's lawyer confirmed to the Post. The FBI requested some personal items belonging to Brian Laundrie to assist them with DNA matching. Attorney Stephen Bertolino said Brian's parents provided the FBI with what they could. Bertolino called the visit routine. The FBI field office in Denver, which is heading up the case, refused to elaborate on what was turned over. The FBI raided the home earlier this month and left with several items after questioning the Laundrie's parents, Christopher and Roberta. And inside this article, you will see said photographs of the FBI entering the home and leaving the home with documents and something in one of the officers' hands. I can't tell what it is. There's also a picture of Miss Gabby and Mr. Brian Laundrie. The new visit by the feds came as hundreds of mourners on Long Island packed a memorial service for Petito 1 week after her remains were found at an isolated Wyoming campground where the young couple had stopped during their cross-country trek. Last week, a Wyoming coroner ruled her death a homicide. The entire planet knows this woman's name, her father, Joe Petito, said during the service at Maloney's funeral home in Holbrook. And she's inspired a lot of women and a lot of men to do what's best for them. He added, if there's a relationship that might not be the best for you, leave it now, quote unquote. Petito, 22, last spoke to her mother on August 25th as she was reported missing by her mom to Suffolk County cops on September 11th. Growing tension between the young couple was depicted by eyewitnesses and cops in Moab, Utah, who pulled them over on August 12th on reports of a domestic incident. Laundrie returned home to Northport without Petito on September 1st and has since disappeared, prompting a search of the nearby 25,000 acre Carlton Reserve, where he is believed to have last been. Last week, Laundrie was indicted on federal fraud charges for allegedly using a debit card in Wyoming in the days after Petito vanished. A reward for his capture has risen to $30,000 as of Sunday. And you can also go in this video and see Brian Laundrie's parents taken in for questioning by the FBI on 9/20/21. The New York Post is the source for this information. So as Ms. Petito was being laid to rest on the East Coast, the FBI agents went into the Laundrie's home. 2 FBI agents are seen going into the home and coming out retrieved items. This is for a DNA match. His attorney is saying that this is routine. So one would have to say, what is routine about a DNA match for a missing person, which I think most of us would consider, have you all found him deceased and you need to make a match of Mr. Laundrie's personal effects if indeed you have found a body somewhere in America and you need to match DNA from his current clothing to clothes found on a dead body. Now, as most of you know who are following the story, no news outlet has reported a body being discovered neither in Florida or any other state, but one would have to question why the FBI would need DNA at this point. The other reason that I could think of that the FBI is needing a DNA match is because perhaps they found something and or around the scene of Miss Petito's death, perhaps her clothing, if indeed she still had on any type of clothing that was left behind on the decedent, because I do not know the shape of her body at that time. So let's just go there. Perhaps the decedent had clothes still on the body. There were other remnants around the body, such as soda pop can, food packaging, anything that they could gather to show that Mr. Laundrie was last with the victim at the time of death. So those are 2 options. He's dead and or things were left behind on the victim and in the vicinity of the victim at the time of death. Thank you all so much for joining me. This information is by the New York Post. Well, as you know, there has been some hype pertaining to this young lady's case and other cases of Caucasian people going missing. And there have been many African Americans speaking out because they feel like we are not getting the just due as far as our own missing people, brown people, indigenous people. We have a lot of Native Americans that are missing. There's a high proportion of Native American women who have been found deceased. And the third cause of death is homicide, for those of you who do not know this. I watched this in the queue yesterday on YouTube. Pertaining to Native Americans, the American Indian people. And I don't think a lot of people know that the leading cause of death in the brown people for women, the brown women, American Indian women, the third leading cause of death is murder. So there are many women here in America, Canada, who have been murdered, not getting their just due. African-American women not getting their just due. Hispanic women not getting their just due. Black, brown, Hispanic, also Native American men as well. Children as well, not getting their just due to get their name out in the local and national media for going missing. Hello, everybody. Thank you, Miss Crystal, for joining me. God bless you, baby. Hope you're well, sweetheart. This is a story that came up in my news break information, and I want to share this with you guys. It's by The Insider. News anchor suspended in dispute about Gabby Petito and women of color coverage, reports say. News anchor Frank Somerville was removed due to a dispute over Gabby Petito coverage. Somerville wanted to note the disparities between coverage of missing white women and women of color. The anchor was suspended indefinitely, reported Mercury News. A San Francisco news anchor has been taken off the air in a dispute over Gabby Petito coverage, reports say. Frank Somerville, the anchor for Fox Bay Area news affiliate KTVU, was suspended indefinitely after he suggested that a segment on Petito should include a tagline acknowledging the extraordinary amount of media coverage her case had received, according to Mercury News. Sources told the outlet that Somerville wanted to note the disparities in media attention towards cases of missing white women compared with indigenous women and women of color. Somerville, who has an adopted Black daughter, reportedly pushed back against management after he was told his suggestion was inappropriate. The news anchor's suspension is his second this year. He was first taken off the air in May after slurring and stumbling over his words while reading from a teleprompter, and had only recently returned from an 8-week suspension. Gabby Petito, 22, was reported missing by her family on September 11th after her fiance Brian Laundrie arrived home from a road trip across the U.S. without her. Petito's death has since been ruled a homicide by the FBI. Brian Laundrie has refused to cooperate with the police investigation into Petito's disappearance and has been missing since September 17th. Petito's case has captured news headlines for weeks. Critics have described the Abbott media coverage as missing white woman syndrome, noting that similar cases of women of color do not get the same attention. U.S. Insider, is the source. So here we have a male, assuming a Caucasian male, who has an adoptive daughter whom is Black. His name is Frank Somerville. He was working for KTVU. I'm assuming he had a personal conversation with his superiors pertaining to the news coverage of Miss Petito, and he felt like her case has received more coverage than African American and Native Americans and Hispanic women, men, and obviously they suspended him, and they said this is his second suspension this year. The first was because of slurring and stumbling, so I don't know if he was on medicine or inebriated, but nonetheless, why suspend the man for a suggestion? Now, did he say it on the air? It wasn't supposed to. He added into his reading of the news. Then some would say that was inappropriate, and it really probably wouldn't have mattered when he said it. If it was a whole news clipping, there probably still would have been some complaints. But right now, that is the ongoing conversation here in the African-American community, is that we are not getting the same just due as far as our people going missing. As you've seen, 2 young Black men have gone missing. One body has surfaced as a decedent, Mr. Jelani. So we have a lot of us, men, women, children, brown people, Black people, whichever way you want to word it, missing currently in America, but we're not getting local and national attention. And that is the said information. Well, honestly, Cassandra, I don't know, honey. We just have a lot of evil people. The Insider is the source for that said information. This last information I'm going to bring you is pertaining to the same scenario pertaining to our Black people missing here in America. And I'm going to read you that. And then if you like, I could drop the link if someone would like to come up. It is late in the morning. I didn't intend on having a panel discussion at this time of morning because I figured most people were sleeping. But I wanted to go ahead when I had some free time. I had rested up and woke up this late morning. I decided to come on and bring you all the said information as of late of what's pertaining to this case, because as I state, this is an ever evolving case. And when you have a manhunt for someone, there's going to be daily updates on the daily pertaining to the story. He said, she said, what the FBI is doing, what the local authorities are doing, what the family, friends are saying. So I want to try to keep everybody up, and I don't want to get behind on bringing you the information. So that is why I'm up at 3 a.m. bringing you the story. Thank you all so much. If you want to donate to the channel, $Big Angie 129 Cash App. Thank you all. News 7 is the source. Petito case renews call to spotlight missing people of color. The disappearance of Gabby Petito has drawn a frenzy of coverage and brought new attention to the phenomenon known as missing white woman syndrome. Many advocates for missing people of color question why the public spotlight that is so important to finding people seems at times to attach more value to white people and white women in particular. Families of victims from Black, Indigenous, Asian American, and other minority households say the burden falls on their shoulders to generate interest. And yes, excuse me for not also mentioning Asian Americans as well. Unlike white families, they have to ensure investigations don't lean into racism or stereotypes. The Associated Press reports that in Wyoming, where Petito was found, just 18% of cases of missing Indigenous women over the past decade had any media coverage, according to a state report released in January. Carol Liebler, a communications professor at Syracuse University's Newhouse School, told the AP that a number of factors play in this trend. She says both whiteness and conventional beauty standards play a role along with a lack of diversity among police and newsrooms. What's communicated is that white lives matter more than people of color, she said. One sample of 247 missing teens in New York and California found 34% of white teens' cases were covered by the media compared to only 7% of Black teens and 14% of Latino kids, she said. The Associated Press contributed to this said article. And if you need verification for this information that I brought you, NBCKWWL.com is the source. So this is the said information pertaining to what's going on in America. Many Asian, Hispanic, American Indian, and African American persons, whether they're men, women, children, it doesn't matter. It's all the same, are not getting the just due of getting their name out to the public, and something has to be done about this. And as I told you all, you know that when you watch your local news, it's only 22 minutes of basic news that is brought to you in a 30-minute interval on most news stations. They run for 30 minutes. So naturally, everything that goes on in your city, in your county, and jurisdiction, it's not going to make the news because they have to make a spot for each thing that they discuss on the news, and somebody is choosing what to put on the news at that time. How they make their decisions on what to spotlight in that 22-minute window or so, I cannot say because I don't work for the news. But naturally, news agents share information from sister station to sister station. That's natural. But it's the what and the how is what is going to be the issue now, because now Black people are rising up to say, hey, we want to be heard, we want to be seen. And we've had this problem anyway, just as being Black people living in this country. If it's not one thing, it's another. We have to fight for this. We're having to fight for that. Equality, how to look, how to dress, equal housing, equal pay, work. Women are always the last anyway to get the always receiving the lowest pay under a man, even for the same position. So it's no different than now. Situations with being victims of domestic abuse, everything's a question. And now you factor in being Black, Asian, Hispanic, American Indian, and you're now wanting your family member's voice heard because they are currently missing. So I'm going to pray that from now on, the news will put special attention to all races of people, whether they are Americans, new Americans, old Americans, whatever their race is, that they can find the time to share a person missing. Because as you see, there's always somebody missing. And that's just like I just went in the news break today, before even coming on live, a Caucasian woman was missing from Crutch Park. Well, she was later found yesterday afternoon. She went missing at 2 a.m. Yesterday morning. And I believe this was a family trip or a group trip. She got lost, perhaps disoriented. I do not know all the details, but she was later found safe. Amen. But as you see, that made it to the local news just that fast. Just that fast. And that's just the way it goes. I want to thank you all for joining me. condolences to the Petito family. FBI has returned to the laundry home yesterday. 2 agents returned to the home, retrieving said items from the laundry home. This is a DNA matching scenario, why they were there. As I state, you can use your better judgment that it is to probably match any type of garments that was on the decedent and or things that were around the decedent's body, Miss Petito, and if indeed a body has been discovered of Mr. Laundrie, and or in case his body is ever discovered, they will have a DNA match to put with any type of remains if indeed Mr. Laundrie turns up dead. That is the said information. What's the problem? I'm going to say, what is it now? I can drop the link if some of you would like to, anybody would like to come up and give their opinion, or I can cut this conversation short. It's up to you. Hold on 1 second, please. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for your time, you guys being up this early morning. Okay, just a second. Hope you all are well. I'm going to drop the link just in case someone would like to give their opinion. Please be respectful to the hostess and the chat. Thank you so very kindly. God bless. I love you. Hope you all had a wonderful weekend and have a safe journey this week going to work. For those of you who are fortunate to have a job and working, I myself have started a new courier position, so I won't be able to do my lives different times. I have to pick and choose when to go live now. Thank you all so much for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. I'm dropping the link in case someone would like to come up and give their opinion, if they're able to give an opinion pertaining to the said situation. And you are able to touch on any subject matter that has been relayed in the said commentary. Thank you. What's the problem in the chat? If you all are not going to be respectful in the chat, please remove yourself. This compilation video is done only because I didn't have the time to do it separately, and it makes it easier if I touch on different subjects in one video. One is not to take away from the other. This is a grown person's conversation. But I mention everything in the video because it's my choice, it's my channel. And as I state, Ms. Petito has been laid to rest. The FBI has returned to the laundry home. And yes, what about us, the African-American people? Where is the just due for the African-American people missing in America? When are they going to get their names spotlighted locally and nationally in the media? That is the said conversation in this live. Thank you. Let me see what's going on. Hold on 1 second, you guys. I see there's a problem. Hold on 1 second. Do not waste your time arguing with people in this chat, because the truth needs no explanation. I refuse to explain anything that I discussed in my commentary. If you cannot conduct yourself as an adult and understand basic conversation, then that is your choice. But I'm not going to deny a story just because I have to worry about making somebody else feel comfortable. I'm an African-American female, and I could easily walk outside my door and never be seen again. And I would hope that somebody would search for me. So the truth never needs explanation. Thank you for joining me. Hold on a minute, Carissa. Let me try it again. Let me make sure I wrote it down correctly, because it's early, darling. Danny, you can comment. You got hit by mistake. Sorry about that, sweetie. Danny D. Hold on 1 minute, Crystal. I don't know. I just put it up there. They didn't play music. What do you mean? At the funeral services? Hold on 1 second, you guys. Okay. I didn't watch it because I told you all I got busy yesterday. So I had something. I was on call for work, so I couldn't do anything, because I couldn't go live and do anything in case I had to go in to work. So that way I wasn't able to go live yesterday. So that's why I'm on this time. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing? Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. So, what's going on? What's happening?
Nothing. I just brought the information pertaining that they had the services yesterday in New York. The FBI has returned to the Laundrie home. 2 agents went inside. This is a DNA matching of Mr. Laundrie's personal effects. And I'm also bringing information pertaining to the cries from African-American people, brown people, Asian people, Hispanic, that our names need to get mentioned more in the news. And that's the set information for the live.
Oh, they got his DNA.
I beg your pardon?
They got his DNA?
Listen, they went to the house to retrieve items with his DNA on them. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, that's good, right?
Okay, I'll go back and look on it. I'll go back and look on my phone. Thanks, Rags.
In case, they find him dead or whatever.
I would think so, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Yes, Candy Smith is true. That's the point of what I'm trying to make. See, this is what, like I told you, I'm not getting ready to sit here and explain anything I put in my live. If you do not like the content, just kindly remove yourself. I'm not getting ready to explain why I put anything in this live. I'm not getting ready to sugarcoat anything going on in the country to satisfy somebody else. Nothing in this live is to disrespect anybody alive or deceased. This is a 3-part compilation video. That's what was said in the beginning of this live. That's the end of the conversation.
Drama. What's going on downstairs?
There's nothing going on downstairs. See, this is what I keep saying to people. It's what you allow. You feed the nonsense, it will continue. I'm not feeding it. Do you have something you'd like to say, ma'am?
Well, I think that there's a bit of a, I don't know if people are wanting to make the lack of reporting or searching of, Indigenous women or women of color less of a priority, and you know what I mean? Like, yeah. I don't know. Oh, yeah. I mean, I would say yes, for sure.
Yeah. My thing is this. Everything is about perception. Talking about other races of people not getting attention is not to take away from any white person going missing. That's not the point. It's not the point. The point is there are other people who are also United States citizens that deserve to be talked about. Yeah. And I just brought you common information pertaining to the third statistic of Indian women being murdered is being murdered in the country. Number 3, cause of death is homicide. I just brought you a statistic pertaining to the percentage of women of color that go missing of it even making the news. And that's Hispanic, brown, black, whichever, Asian. It's all the same. It's not to leave out any other race, any other nationality that is not white. There, those said murders, missings, all the same, missing persons, children, grown-ups, children, they are not being heard. Yeah, it sucks. That's right. That's just the way it is. Because that's the way it's always been. The brown people have always been the lower person on the totem pole. We should not be shocked. You're talking about being enslaved for hundreds of years, set free, and still weren't free. And you had to fight just to eat, to have a place to sleep, to buy land, to buy property. You see, don't get mad at history because it is what it is. You see, I'm one of those type of people. I don't walk around mad at the world because of what I think the white man did to me or what the white man or woman is still trying to do to me and fellow American citizens and around the world. You see, I don't walk in that type of light. I don't bother myself with that type of foolishness because then that means I'm allowing someone to steal my spirit because he or she is unhappy. I don't live like that. I live by crazy people every day, black and white. They act the same to me. One's no different than the other. A fool is a fool.
So do you think that her death has anything, like, not anything, but like, do you know what I mean? Like, it got more attention because I think her father is like a fireman, and then the Brian Laundrie'S.
I don't know. So I didn't even know her father was a fireman. I just was wondering why the fire people were there. But now you're telling me that it could be. But that's why I try to explain to people in the chat is that news is pushed by a sister station. NBC pushes its news to NBC affiliates. See where I'm going? So if you go missing in New York, NBC picks it up, the local NBC news. Well, that story gets pushed to other NBC affiliates. See where I'm going? Hello?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's how a story gets pushed. And the next thing you know, It's 60 NBC stations pushing the story of a missing white woman by the name of Miss Petito. Stay woke. Now, another affiliate, CBS, pushes the story locally. And then they send that feed out to more CBS stations. And before you know it, it is now a national story. It's how news gets out. It's pushed by its affiliates, affiliate to affiliate, and then affiliate to the main news, such as NBC Nightly News. Stay woke.
So this whole, like, she had this perception, like on her YouTube channel or whatever, her blog, that she was living this van life, and it was like a fake life. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't her, what she was living. She was living.
So why are you saying that? Why are you saying that? Be careful how you word things now. What are you saying?
That she was living this fake life. That this van life wasn't what she was portraying.
So what are you trying to say? So what are you trying to say? Her life was fake in the van, or her total life was fake?
The van life was
But see,
fake.
that's the whole thing. What is fake to you? Why is it fake to you? You only saying it's fake because she's dead?
Well, how did she end up dead?
She ended up dead like a lot of people, Tina.
She was living in an abusive situation.
Okay, but the thing is,
I mean, I could put up, a nice facade online.
But listen here.
My life is great.
Okay, but listen. We're not gonna do this now because I'm trying to be very respectful to this woman and her family.
Well, yeah, for sure.
But what I'm trying to explain.
But I mean, look at what's his name. Look,
Okay,
dog
listen.
is there. Dog is there making it a shit show.
Listen. The point is, it doesn't matter because that's her perception at that time. She didn't know she was going to get killed.
No.
And she can't come back and tell me that, well, you know what, Angela, I kind of thought this guy was going to break my neck or hurt me. How would she know that? Because what did I tell you? This is what women do, and men as well. We try to change people. So perhaps this trip, she thought the best of this human, and she went on this trip. I don't have to agree with what she did going on this trip. Because as I said in my past commentary, I'm sure there were many signs that Brian was not right. He did not treat her well, but she went along anyway. And I wish she hadn't. But we do these foolish things as people. We continuously put ourselves in bad situations with people when we see the signs that they don't mean us any good. And she's one of those people who went along for the ride. Unfortunately, it was the ride of death. It was the ride of death. So her van life to her was her doing probably what she's done anyway. She's recorded herself anyway, even though she was dating a guy who was not possibly a nice guy, wasn't a nice guy. And I don't like using adjectives, but as I said, everything's about perception. But he wasn't a nice guy. We can go ahead and say that because she's dead. And he's presumed as the person of interest, the murderer. So he wasn't a nice guy. We'll throw that out there. But the point is, this is what she was doing before she went on this trip. She blogged her life and she dated Brian Laundrie. You see where I'm going? So
Yeah.
it wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered if it was in a van, an RV, or if she was in a car and filming going across the country with Brian Laundrie. That was her choice to date him. That was her choice to stay with him. So it really wouldn't have mattered.
I'm not blaming the victim here. I'm just
but I'm just going to tell you the way it sounds. People are going to think that you are the way you're saying, like her life was fake being in that van. No, that was her version of her life.
Like this whole idea that her life was great and that
but she may have thought it was great. But listen. But listen, a lot of people look at each other's lives, Tina, and think that they're great, but we don't know them. It's just like right now, I can drive down the street. Let me say this. I live, like I said, I live in a nice neighborhood, but everything ain't great about it. You see? Okay. I go out today. I'm going around the job I did today. I'm going in nice neighborhoods where the houses are fancy. The cars are nice, but I know there's bullshit behind the door. It's just that it looks nice, but I don't really know What the people got going on behind the door? So when people see these people out, they can say, oh, Jane's got a great job. She's got a great husband. She's got nice jewelry. She's got fine children. She's got 2.5 cars in the garage. Oh, wow, I wish I had her life. But then if I got behind the doors, I probably wouldn't like her life. But it's how it looks. So to the outside public, when people were watching her blog, they probably thought, wow, this girl, she's really put together. She's a pretty girl. She's having a great time of her life. But the point is, as I've said to people with social media and in people in general, you don't know people. So nobody knew what was going on with her.
They don't know in the last week that she's had the cops called twice, and she's been.
But that's all of us.
Every other day.
Tina. That's all of us, Tina. That's all of us. Nobody knows what goes on until somebody tells them.
Yeah, true.
So it wouldn't have mattered. Like I said, it doesn't matter that she was filming from the van. That's really irrelevant. It doesn't matter if she was filming every day from her backyard. Anybody can look and think, oh, she's got a great life, but they don't know Gabby Petito. They didn't know Brian Laundrie. They didn't know that secretly while she's filming with this guy, he was probably envious of her. He probably was jealous of her. He was controlling of her. He was insecure with himself. You probably didn't see that in every video that she made with Brian Laundrie.
I wish I was there. If I was there, I would have told her to dump his ass. Like, look, it's your van. Just fucking leave. Get him out of here.
I'm just as perturbed, but this is what I'm saying. I cannot, I'm not getting ready to bash her because I've been her. So I know what it's like to fool with people who don't know how to talk. They don't know how to act. And we foolishly keep talking to them. We foolishly keep dealing with them. That's the thing about life. Life is a facade. That just because you see things that look cute and pretty on video, a blog, going inside a reality TV star's home, all that's aesthetics. Pretty house, pretty shoes, pretty clothes, pretty hair, nice figure, pretty baby. But it doesn't mean that she's happy. It doesn't mean that he's happy.
BBLs.
That's the point.
I was watching videos on BBLs. They're going out of style, actually.
Is there anybody else that want to hit the link? Hold on, let me drop it again. Crystal, can you drop it for me? So I don't know Crystal's still in there.
Are you kicking me out of your house?
No, but this is a panel where other people can speak.
For sure. I'm in bed. I was just singing karaoke and watching. I watched another crime story.
Wow, I got up to 233. Thank you all so much for joining me. I didn't even see the number of people that came in the chat. Thank you so much. I'm going to drop the link for anybody else that want to join the discussion pertaining to this story. Thank you all so much. I appreciate it. I know it's kind of late in the morning.
I was putting up my Halloween decorations. It's all dark in here.
I was in bed. Why are you even up this time of morning?
I was up all night. I didn't go to sleep. I was working on my earrings and.
I see.
Now I'm hungry.
Okay.
I got some chicken. Sorry, I'm not all professional or anything. Just need some water. Being all professional. I'm in my old lady night dress.
Thank you all so much. All right. Hearts for me. My understanding too that they think they were living together for 2 years or so. Who's to say this was an on and off relationship? I don't know. I don't have all the details of their relationship and how she got down to Florida, but nonetheless, she made a mistake. That's it.
Yeah, I think they were off and on.
She made a mistake. That's all. She made a mistake. She didn't see the signs, or she didn't listen to the signs of this facade that he put up as a person.
I think she was really
Shane Cook. Thanks for joining me.
I think she could have had a really successful, YouTube.
No, I'm not going to yell at anybody. I just want everybody to be respectful when they give their commentary, because everyone's entitled to their opinion. But I do not want anyone to think, I don't want nothing in this commentary to be misconstrued that someone's bashing this young lady, because like I said, everybody makes mistakes. Hers just happened to be a fatal mistake, that she dated the wrong guy, and she continued to date the wrong guy, and she ended up murdered. But that happens,
22, you know,
because people date the wrong people every day, and they don't sometimes end up murdered, but they end up in very bad situations in dealing with the people that they're dealing with. Hearts for me, great point. Probably never thought it would have gotten that far where someone was going to lose their life. Exactly. And that's the point, is that what I just said. Many situations with men and women do not end up in murder. But how are you going to know that the 16th argument, the 1000 argument, pushing, shoving match, pulling a hair, push downstairs, is this time going to be your last time? Because people stay. People stay with people all the time. No, Sophie, I'm not. Thank you, Shane. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Yes, a lot of people are in bad relationships. A lot of people are still in bad relationships. You have people my age that are 50 that are in bad relationships with people. They're with mentally, physically, verbally abusive people. They're nasty. They don't have a kind word to say. They hunt, cut down every word you say. They don't root for your accomplishments. They got something to say about your appearance. They're complaining about the dress you wore. Why you got that lipstick on? Oh, don't nobody care nothing about what you talking about. I've heard the same things recently with someone I met, and we weren't even dating. And just because they were having a bad damn day, they had something bad to say about this channel. Like, I don't care that you were going live, blah, blah, blah. I was stranded. Well, nobody knew you were stranded because you didn't ever call. But you see how people throw things in your face because they're mad at the world. But that was showing me signs this person was not level-headed. And he had showed me signs before. As I've mentioned on the channel, a conversation I was having with a lady in the store when I was asking her about the things in the store being bare. And he overheard the conversation because he was on speaker, and he just jumped in our conversation and started ranting and raving. Oh, we got drivers. We got lots of drivers. That just lets me know he could come unglued at a moment's notice. And that was a wake-up call. That was wake-up call number 1. You can come unglued in a conversation that no one was talking to you. You were on speaker. And as I told the person, hey, I apologize, I didn't tell you I was on speaker, but common sense could say, he could see I was in the store talking to the manager. Why are you getting upset? Because she says the trucks haven't come in with the products. That's why there weren't a lot of things on the shelves. You would get that irate to say, well, I'm a driver. I know that's a lie. That lets me know, dude, you got problems. And that's probably why you're single, because what woman is going to listen at that in a conversation? You understand what I'm saying? You get that angry in a conversation, you got problems.
I was just reading something about that today, about shortage of or things slowing down, not enough truckers or something like that.
They've known each other since high school. Well, my thing is this. People date people they know are not good for them every day. They know they're not compatible with them. They know they do not mean them well. They let them know they don't mean them well. It happens every day. You see people out in public every day when you go to parties, functions, church, work. You see people moaning and crying about their boyfriend, their girlfriend, their husband. Oh, he's a bum. He doesn't want to work. He doesn't want to do anything. He's a crybaby. He's insecure. He's jealous. He gets angry, flies off the handle. He punches walls. He punches me. In the end, there's nothing you're going to say that's going to change that person's mind about staying with them. There's nothing you can do. Good morning, Jennifer. Thank you, sweetheart. Yes, you knew him for years. Yes, yes. And now we find, and with Chris Watts is even more disturbing with his situation, because I found something in the queue 2 weeks ago on YouTube pertaining to Chris Watts, because there's a lot of commentary about Chris Watts in the queue for those of you who are getting information about the Chris Watts case. He let it be known in an interview he never cared for his wife and children. So that's even more disturbing, which you can already tell he didn't care because he killed them. Duh. But to hear it come out of the person's mouth, I never cared for them. He was detached from day one. So that means all this time she was dating this man. Why did he date her? Why did he marry her? Then he had children with her. So now you're telling us after the fact that you never cared for your wife and your kids, but you're over sleeping around with this chick who thinks you like her. So what I would tell her, he would have done the same to you. He would have checked out because he's a narcissist and a sociopath. He would have checked out on you. You would have done or said something Chris Watts didn't like, and then he'd be plotting to find a way to get rid of you. Because that's what they do. And men have done it. And women have done it. We know about the Black Widow syndrome. You've got a small percentage of women that don't mind knocking off their men for various reasons. Most of it's greed for insurance money. You understand what I'm saying? But you have sick people out here. They don't value you as a human. You are just a commodity. You're something to do at that time. Yes. Well, Miranda, he had to do that because he didn't want people looking at him that he was a suspect. Well, Brian may not be intelligent to some of us, but he is also not seen and he's not heard from. So he's doing a pretty damn good job of staying out of the way. He had to Google how you know you're in love. Totally whack. Well, you know, Pink, people Google all types of things. We all Google, all types of things. Hard to leave someone when you have a nice lifestyle and kids. Yes, and that is the reason why a lot of people stay with people. Men use women for their wealth, for how they live. Women use men. It's all the same. People stay with people for various reasons. It doesn't have to be a reason I would stay, but people stay with people for various reasons. People hook up with people for various reasons. Frankly, we have a lot of people that's just on the take. They're just trying to get a come up. So you have men using women for a come up. You have women using men for a come up.
How do you give a man credit for somebody saying, "Oh, you got to give him credit for being on the run"? What is that?
Say what?
Anthony said, you got to give the man credit because he's been on the run from the FBI for 12 days. So.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I said he may not seem intelligent to some, but that is the point. You're right. He is gone. He had enough sense to get gone and not get caught for 12 days, because what'll be messed up if you find out it's 12 more days. Then it's 2 months, then it's 3 months, he's still gone. You got to think about many people who've gone on the run. Somebody may have not thought they were too savvy, but they've been on the run for 10, 15 years. It can be done. With proper planning, it can be done.
Yeah, so it was planned.
Of course it was planned. And that goes back to my commentary from the other day. The Laundrie'S are very dirty. They knew their son was going on the run. He's had to have told them something about what happened in Wyoming. And if he didn't, he told them something. They've pushed it under the rug if he didn't tell all of it. And they have secretly concocted this ruse of going into the reserve when they know damn well he's not out there. He's not out there.
No, I don't think he's out there. Too many bugs. Those alligators.
No. Well, Trucker, the thing about love is that most people aren't taught what love is, because if I've never had love or been loved, I can't teach my children about love. How do you teach somebody what love is? You don't even know what love is. Hello?
Hey, good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you, NYC King. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you ladies doing this early in the morning?
Thank you so much for joining me.
All right. Salute to your chat. Salute to your panel.
Thank you.
My little insight is that if any woman is in a relationship like this, you need to reevaluate yourself.
Yes.
Reevaluate your worth.
Yes.
And if it's not a positive relationship, it's not loving,
Yes.
Get the hell out and start running.
Yes.
Right? Brian is a coward. He's a coward when the police stopped him. And does his parents know where he is? Yeah, they know
Yes.
exactly where he is.
Thank you.
He's not in no forest.
Yes.
They know they're not even concerned about where he is because they placed him.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay? They were in a van for 4 months. You're getting tired of each other. It's time to go home.
Yeah.
It's time to wrap it up and say, yo, this ain't working out. She probably told him, yo, I don't want to get married to you.
So let me ask you something. Hold on 1 second. You said 4 months. How do you know they were in the van for 4 months?
Well, they left New York and they toured these different states.
Do you know what month they left New York? Have you got verification of what month they left New York?
I can't remember what month it was. I know that
So let me ask you this. Where did they, so do you have verification? I do this with everybody, so don't get offended. Do you have verification what month they left New York? You said you don't.
No, I don't have, I can't verify, but I know
that you heard that.
I heard that.
Okay.
That
okay. So it wasn't Florida where they migrated from originally.
No, they left from New York because I believe it was Gabby's brother's graduation or something like that.
So that would have been spring. Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So then they went to Florida. So you got to imagine what Gabby was going through living in the household with the parents.
Yes, I also mentioned that too. I'm glad you mentioned it. Yes, yes.
Okay, so obviously she was probably, not getting the love and affection she needed, and this guy Brian was just totally taking advantage of her.
Yes, I think so. Yes.
And she was being abused and not knowing she was being abused. Okay, so that's a thing that women believe that abuse is love, and it's not.
Mm-hmm.
So, if your husband or your boyfriend speaks down on you, he's not supportive of you, and he's not trying to help you go to your next stage in life, and they want to keep you down and keep you in the house and try to place you and train you. Yeah. That's not a husband or a boyfriend for you. That's a man is supposed to uplift his woman,
right?
Give her positive compliments, open the damn door for her, and consistently show her love like she's a child, like she's a baby, because she needs that sort of affection.
Yes.
I tell everybody, 2 men cannot run a house. Somebody's got to be the man and somebody's got to be the woman, but it's got to be an equal sort of relationship and love. Yeah. You can't overpower a woman because woman is God's gift to man.
Yes.
Okay, without a woman on this planet,
they don't realize that, but men don't realize that.
A woman is God's gift to man, and that's how a woman needs to be treated. Okay, Brian didn't choke his mother out.
Right.
Okay, so Gabby was afraid. Gabby was afraid to leave this man for some sort of reason, and it was too late. Yes. He did every dumb thing in the world to cover up this homicide.
Yes, I wonder why. Excuse me to cut you off. I wonder why the engagement was called off. That's what was said. Allegedly.
I'm pretty sure that after the fight at this little Piggly restaurant,
no. I mean, the engagement was called off before the trip. My understanding. I thought perhaps.
Well, Gabby's a New York chick. She probably had enough and said, "Listen, we can't. It's not going to work out," and he couldn't accept that.
Uh-huh.
So she probably just let him know this is just too much. It's just too much, and he flipped. So
okay,
wow. And it was a spare of the moment thing because they've been together since high school, I believe. Yeah. So it happened out of anger, and when something happens, you can't take it back.
Okay.
Okay, so he's a coward. He's not a sort of dude that's going to take his life. He don't know how to, but he's scared shitless where he is, but his parents did place him. Okay.
Where do you think he is? Where do you think he is, sir?
Well, his parents, he could either be one or two places because creeps like this, they're sneaky. They like rodents. He could have either placed him, and he could have got on a boat, and he could be someplace else out of the fucking country because he can't use his ID anymore. Or he could be on some El Chapo shit. He could be buried somewhere, living underneath something. He could still be in that damn house. We don't know. They could have constructed something underneath the house. It's a lot of weird shit that happens in this world. And it'd be the weirdest shit. They'd be like, Brian was in that house the whole fucking all the time. Yeah. But he gotta eat. He's not out.
I tell people, I'm not stuck on this. He was out there for 4 months before on the Appalachian Trail. That doesn't mean anything to me. The point is, he was pampered because he lived with his parents. I'm a
Right.
realist.
He's a mom. He's a family boy.
Yeah. So
So
that's why I said
wherever he is, he's not too far from them.
yes.
But I lived in Florida. I've been in the Everglades, and I'm from Yonkers, New York.
Okay.
You can't survive out there. There's gators, there's
Yeah.
boars, there's
It's not a place
panthers.
you would go unless you're going to kill
Nah,
yourself.
there's
If you just want
nah,
to kill yourself, I can see that if you actually want to kill yourself. But then if let's just say that if he killed himself, you still got to find him. I was watching that boat go over all that marsh, and I thought, hell, that boat would smush him to death. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're
Now
trying to find him.
this whole thing was to throw the law enforcement off.
Yes,
And
it
the
was.
the
Give him
parents were
time to get
behind
away.
it.
Yeah.
He I think the parents placed the car. Parents did all this stuff with the
Yes, I
car,
agree.
and
I agree.
he never
I
even went there.
I
He never
agree with you.
even went there.
Yes, I agree with you, sir. I agree. I always said that with the car. I said, you know what I thought the other day? I said, you put that car there because you knew 9 times out of 10, it won't matter. If somebody vandalized it, it won't matter. You'll get another car replacement from your insurance. You planted that damn car out there.
They planted it.
They
They
planted
went and
that.
got it. The family, the mother and father is just like the son.
Yeah, they are. And that's probably where he got his ways. One or two are sociopaths as well. One of them's a narcissist, mommy or daddy.
So you got to put yourself in Gabby's shoes. She was being
Yes.
manipulated in that household.
See, I talked about that the other day. I
For
said,
the
imagine
longest.
living there with somebody's parents. Do you think they had a real genuine relationship in somebody's house? Because for one, we don't know how they treated her. Two, we've got these people who are now quiet. So if you would go quiet now that this girl's missing, and 9 times out of 10, you know your son did something to her because he brought her van back without her. That leads me to wonder, how were you treating her when she was in your house? Were they fighting, fussing? You know, he said she nitpicks a lot, right? So let's go there. Was she nitpicking on him in that house? Were they getting involved in the conversations and arguments? See, all that we'll never know because who's going to talk?
Well, they're saying that Brian was kind of controlling, and half the neighbors didn't see Gabby, so therefore they were keeping her in the house. Okay, so the manipulation that was going in that household could have been unbearable, and he being the only child probably was spoiled up and down and learned all of the family's trickery and deceivery, not on how to do funky, nasty shit to people. Okay, so she wasn't adjusted to this sort of behavior. Okay, she didn't know that people can get down this nasty. But did she have love for the critter? Yeah. She loved this dude. Did he love her? No, he didn't.
No, he didn't love her. No.
He didn't love her at all.
That's the sad part of the story. But that's the saddest part of the story is that she hung in there not knowing that this firecracker was ready to pop.
Absolutely. You know, and it's a sad story because this is happening all over the world.
Every day. Listen, there are a lot of Petitos running around. They just ain't made the news.
No, they didn't make
national spotlight. We have a black girl missing right here in Knoxville. Nashina Kyle, please Google her name. We want justice for her. She's currently missing. She's been gone since June. The boyfriend is incarcerated. He violated probation on a drug charge. He doesn't have a bond. Knoxville police sent out a notice last week to the media that they do believe the boyfriend, Mr. Bassett, is a person of interest, and they are now deeming her disappearance as a homicide.
Let me tell you something, and it's not a black or white thing because I'm colorblind. You know, I love all races and colors and whatever. You know what I'm saying? And I'm never the one to say that, oh, the white man is keeping me down, because I got a very positive life. And I live in peace and harmony because I eliminate the drama factors.
Yes, that's what I tell people too. I don't walk around worrying about the race or nothing. But you know, it is part of my commentary too about the African American, the Browns, the Asians are not getting the attention that white people get for going missing. I have to address that.
That stereotype. But it also goes to show you how law enforcement and other situations handles white people different than they handle minorities. Okay, he should have been arrested the day she was crying.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that. A lot of people are saying that.
They should have been arrested. They should have. I seen the tape. The cops are like, yo, we
Sheena
don't.
Kyle.
Yeah. So why would he go to the fucking hotel? She got to sleep in the van alone. She could have got murdered that night in the van alone.
Yeah, that's true.
It was handled all fucked
Was there
up.
insurance money or something or anything like that?
Was
So
that
what,
Tina?
Was there insurance money or anything like that?
Nah,
on her? On her?
Yeah.
I don't
they were
know.
not. They
What?
weren't
That's something
married.
to think about too.
They weren't married, so therefore he wasn't going to get any money
No,
like
you
that.
can. You can take insurance out on anybody, Mr. King.
You can take insurance out, but this man is on the run. There's no collecting from this.
No, not for him. We're not talking about. I think she's meaning the parents, perhaps.
I don't know. At 22 years old, and as vibrant as she was, I don't know whether. I don't think anybody took out any life insurance.
I think what she's doing is just throwing out a probability because we don't know these people. We have heard cases of a girl, a Caucasian girl was dating a guy. She was living with the family, and then she's pushed off a cliff. I think many people have heard that story. They said she fell. She didn't fall. They pushed her off because they backtracked the photos, and you could see the timeline of where she fell. They pushed her off the cliff, and they had a policy on her.
Oh, I understand what you're saying,
I
believe Gabby was killed. I believe Gabby was killed in that van, and she was carried to her location.
Okay. Well, let's talk. Go ahead, Tina.
The boyfriend and the father was converting her van to an RV or whatever.
I didn't hear what you said. Say that again.
The father and Brian, they converted the van. So
what you mean converted it?
They put a bed in it, and they probably gutted it out, put in some to make it look.
Okay, I saw those pictures. That's what I'm trying to get a timeline on those pictures that I saw. I know what you're talking about. In one picture, it's a bed set up, and then the next picture is a bunch of junk. So a lot of people were commenting like, "Oh, I can see why she was upset." So that's the whole thing. They didn't give us a timeline on the second photo to where the truck is junky with a bunch of stuff in it. Is that after he returned or during the trip?
The neighbors said that Brian and his father were out in the driveway converting the van.
Okay, so that was after the fact. I got you. Okay, so that's all to get an understanding about the van. I got Pinky up here. Pink, baby, what you got to say, honey? She's got her mic off. Pink, you got to turn your microphone on, sweetheart. She can't hear me. Sorry about that. Go ahead, Mr. King.
So yeah, they were constructing this van to do this sort of van lifestyle. And, you know, nowadays when you're on social media, you're going to get a lot of attention.
Well, that shows you a lot. That shows you that that this was almost orchestrated because you're doing a whole lot to be bringing somebody's van back, and now you're converting the van. Allegedly, he took her clothes and stuff to the storage unit. Somebody saying her mom or somebody said that's where her stuff is. You see how this is going?
They converted the van before they left. They made it into a small mobile home. They converted it.
Wait, hold on a minute. Okay, I'm getting confused. The van was converted when?
Converted before they left because they were going on the road. They converted it to be a small mobile home for them to live in.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But we're talking about the junk that we saw in the second photo. There's two photos that's circulating on social media, and they're like side by side. So that's what I'm talking about.
I believe Gabby kept that van pretty much clean.
Yeah, it was. It was neat with a bed. But that's
right. She kept it clean, and he kept it funky.
So that's what we're talking about.
That was the clash.
So that's what we're talking about. It's the van is got pictures that's junky. So I think Tina is saying that's might be when they got back stuff that they've done to it after he brought it back.
And that's another thing with a narcissist. You know, they believe that a woman can't have any backbone.
Okay.
And when a woman shows that she has backbone, the narcissist feels threatened.
Okay.
And the narcissist has to leash out to show that he's got the power or she's got the power.
Okay.
And then sometimes this can trigger a negative reaction in the wrong ways. So, like I said, ladies, if you're with a guy that's controlling, or a guy, if you're with a woman that's controlling, you reevaluate. Which nobody's life is worth your job, and nobody's life is worth your relationship. You got to just keep it moving, and it hurts. It hurts to leave someone you believe you love or have feelings for, but in the long run, you can either be killed or end up in jail. It goes both ways for men and women. Okay,
Yeah.
I would rather choose to live alone than to live with drama. A drama here, a drama there.
Yeah. All the
You
time,
know,
something. Always something. Always
yeah,
something. But
and
some
men and
people
women,
feed on the drama. But let's talk about
men,
that too. You do have
That's
right?
people who
that's
feed on
right.
it.
And I think like I'm a little bit older now, and I think that's great advice. It's just I'm a little older now. I know if I would have known now what I knew, didn't know then. You know what I mean?
There's a
Yeah.
good word. There's a good word that I keep in my heart and strong. Walk. If you get into it, with your husband, your boyfriend, somebody got to take a walk. Go to McDonald's, because if two people stay in the fucking fire, it's gonna explode. It's
Yeah.
gonna explode. Like I say again, it's going to fucking explode. You two are staying there challenging each other, and challenging each other. Now people starting to swing. Somebody's got to be the mature person and say, "Yo, I got to get out of the fire. I'm going to take a walk. I'm going to take a walk till I calm this fire down that's
Yeah.
burning in my fucking heart that makes me want to beat this chick up."
Oh,
So,
please.
you know what I'm saying? It goes both ways. Like the one be like, "Yo, as soon as this nigga goes to
Thank
sleep,
you, Pink. I was wondering
I'm
when you
gonna
were
cut
turning
his
your
balls off.
microphone on.
Soon as he
I
goes to sleep, I got him." So it goes either way. Take a fucking walk. It could be a 5 minute walk. It could be a 5 hour walk. Walk your ass to a fucking motel. I'm like, yo, I can't
Oh, is it?
deal with you tonight. I can't do it.
Okay. Pinky, what you got to say? You've been waiting a while. What you got to say, sweetheart?
Oh, so much. I'm trying to figure this out. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Just start talking, sweetheart.
Oh, okay. Um,
Where you calling from? First, tell
I
me where
just
you calling
think
from.
that,
I like my guests to tell me where they're calling from. Tina's in Canada. I'm
oh,
here in East Tennessee. Where are you?
Alabama.
Woo, Lord. Ugh.
I'm
Y'all know
sorry.
y'all can't. Look, y'all know y'all can't
I'm
talk that.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Come
But
on,
you know,
girl.
there are.
Girl.
I come from a good bunch, not a bad bunch,
Well,
not
just
a
tell me what
crazy
you
bunch.
think. I have a 3-part compilation video. This video is about FBI returning to the home yesterday to retrieve information from the laundry home for DNA purposes. Naturally, you know that she was put to rest in New York yesterday. And my third topic is pertaining to the fact that many brown, Asian, American Indian, Hispanic people go missing and they do not get the same notoriety as Caucasian people. That's the subject of this live. Thank you for joining me.
Yes, ma'am. And that was what I wanted to speak on. Even
Oh,
though I am Caucasian, I
okay.
have family of, I have biracial family.
Okay.
I find and I have found over the years, first let me say that I have MS, and so if I'm out of it a little bit, and I'm not around people a lot, so I get kind of spacey. So I'm not on drugs or anything. I'm just nervous, and
Well, just take your
I don't
time.
want to sound uneducated.
Just tell me what you
But
feel about the situation with the brown people
but
not getting Friday. Thank you.
I'm just I'm just so sick of our country being so blind. Even though I'm born here in the South, I'm
Mhm.
raised from a family that has never, and we're talking like, I wouldn't say my family was rednecks because I'll admit I was born in Tuscaloosa, but I've also lived a life where I have went and participated in the March and Selma when I was younger, and over the over the years, a
Mhm.
couple of times I've been blessed enough to do that because I'm not but about 45 minutes now from Selma,
Okay.
and I have I don't like it, and this is a thing that I really hate when people say, but I'm going to say it. To say that you're friends with somebody because a more melanated skin tone. I hate that. My thing is, people in this world do not understand each other until you sit down and break bread. And by that, it's something I've discovered. Going into each other's homes and lives, saying you're friends with somebody or
Mhm.
that you understand somebody, it's
Mhm.
like saying, okay, if I said, Miss Angie, I want you to experience MS. And so I'm going to give you my shoes and I want you to walk in my size 9 shoes around there in Tennessee. And I want you to feel what it's like to have had MS for 30 years. Or are
Okay.
you going to be able to tell me that?
Mhm.
I mean, no, ma'am, you can't. I mean, just like I can't fully encapsulate changing in any way or form what it's like to be black. But
Okay.
I do have family, and I have been in stores and around in places where I've got my nieces, and I get these looks because this child's not the same color as me, and it
Okay.
really aggravates me to the point.
Well, the thing is, nobody knows what anyone is going through because you're not in anyone's shoes, and the race doesn't have to be a factor, of course. But we do have an epidemic of Black persons, period, whether they're children or adults, brown, Asian, all races are missing in this country, and they're not getting the just due. But like I told people, the news spins their stories from affiliate to affiliate. So that's how the story gets spread from, you know what I'm saying, one jurisdiction to another. Now, who makes a decision on which stories to pick? I don't know how that's done. I can't speak on that. But I just know I'm hearing a lot of people of different races saying their children, their loved ones are not getting the same attention. As I spoke of Sheena Kyle, that's missing out of here, out of Knoxville, Tennessee. Currently, it is an issue here, and we're trying to figure out where she is. But now the police is saying they released a statement last week to the media that they do believe that it is a homicide because there's been no more contact, no social media post. She's not shown back up to her house. She left her car. She left the dog. So common sense would tell you the girl is gone. Now, hiding out, I don't know. Because, people will speculate all types of things. But at some point, if you're close to somebody in your family, you're going to let them know you're okay. And she did that a year ago, they said. She took a hiatus, but she called somebody to let them know, hey, I'm safe, I'm good. This time, round 2, there's no phone calls. So now the family is suspecting foul play. And as I state, the boyfriend is currently in jail with no bond for a violation of probation of a drug charge, former drug charge. But Sheena, there's something amiss with this story. And this is right here in Knoxville, Tennessee. She's missing. Where is she?
What's her name?
Sheena Kyle. Kyle is her last name. And down in your parts where you are, I've searched the database for Alabama's missing because I covered the cupcake case for many of you who followed that content coming up 2 years this October when she went missing in a project development by the name of Tom Brown. Later, the baby was found dumped in a construction dumpster. It's a very horrific case, and we're waiting for that trial to commence as I speak. But Alabama has a lot of missing people, and a lot of Black folks are missing down there, and there's something funky in the water down there. And I said that to myself. Those people are popping up missing. I never seen anything like it. You have a lot of people missing in the state of Alabama. I mean, suspiciously missing. And I mean all walks, not just young people. You understand what I'm saying? I'm talking about fully grown folks that look like they had a life. And you're asking yourself, okay, where's this 40-year-old missing? Where's this 50-year-old missing? Where's this 22-year-old missing? I mean, they're like all different ages down there in Alabama. It's very strange.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Try to keep an eye on your loved ones because I mean there are a
Thank you.
lot of
Thank you, because I tell people all the time, people, this texting thing, I'm a thing about texting. Hey, knock on the door. Old school.
absolutely to find out who they're texting to, if they're even safe to do that. But who knows when your child goes to school and they don't come back home.
Yeah.
You know, so you got to keep an eye on your children and your spouses and everyone out there, because there's maniacs out there just kidnapping people
Yeah, yeah,
and murdering them, and they're going missing. You know,
yeah,
Gabby's not the only one going missing. There's people getting kidnapped as we speak.
yeah, yeah,
You know, there are people being held without wanting to be held as we speak. You know, there's someone being abused as we speak. There's
yes.
someone
Currently,
plotting
every day. That's the problem. It's every day. It's
every
not
day,
just
every minute of the day. Somebody's
every minute.
plotting to do something
Yes.
to a child or a woman or something to that nature. Everyone's plotting. That's the way you women need to think about that. They're out there plotting. Sometimes life is not all roses in gardens. There are people that will come into your garden and steal your roses. So you gotta be
Well,
always.
that's a very interesting way of putting it. Still, yes, I like that.
You got to be very vigilant on the people around you, and always check up on them. Always check up on them.
Yeah.
Always check
Well,
up
that's
on
the
them.
problem is that people are so immersed in social media, just like what we're doing right now, talking about this woman, these people, we don't know them. People want to be web sleuths, putting stuff together, making up stuff, passing false information, all this wild conspiracies. I don't do that. I'm a realist. I live here on Earth. I don't do all that wild stuff. But people are evil, and that's the point. You can get missing by your neighbor, your boyfriend, your family member, your friend, your coworker. If I want you gone, I'll get you gone. I tell people that all the time. I live in the South. It's very wooded here where I live. I can dump you right now in plain sight. Nobody would know you're there until they smell you.
No, I live up in the country myself.
You know what I'm saying?
And,
Trees, shrubbery. You won't even see the body. You can just dump a body off the side of the road. Nobody's going to know unless you're out there picking up cans or something.
You're absolutely right. If they didn't find that van, they probably wouldn't have found that body.
Yeah.
Okay, so everything.
He had them known. Listen, let's keep it real. He had them known this was coming. You can't bring her back. You brought a van back without the person. So that was your problem right there. That's number one. She ain't nowhere to be found. Two, she had people who cared. Now let's factor in somebody who was living in the world and didn't have nobody caring. She didn't have a lot of friends. Nobody could have got contact with these people. Let's say she didn't have parents. Let's say she came from people that didn't care about her, because we got people like that live out here, don't really have no strong family unit. Imagine had she had nobody. I bet y'all didn't think about that. See where I'm going?
No, I see exactly where you're going.
Imagine if she didn't have no family to say she's gone, she's missing, she ain't posting. She could have been a random YouTuber or blogger who didn't have no damn family.
Well, you can tell us this guy Brian had no fucking heart, because listen, after to the fact, he did a lot of running around before he went to retrieve that van, just to create alibis that was stupid. Mm-hmm. So he came back because it came time where he figured that he jumped in enough cars that he was seen by enough people that he can go back to the crime scene. And he probably did go back to check up on Gabby, where he dropped her off and seen that she started decomposing, and that was enough for him to say it's time to go home. Mm-hmm. So he got in there. He used her credit cards to get back because he didn't want to tell his family until he got home, and he probably told them day one that this is what happened, and they started to compose the cover up to get him out of there. They started to do the setup.
Yeah. They knew. I wonder if he's told them the truth of what happened out there. I often wonder that.
There's only one truth. He killed her. There's only one truth.
Oh, wow. That's probably why he brought the van back, because he worked on it, him and his dad.
It's not his van. It's not his van. That's why that van is not parked at that house. That van belongs to Gabby and Gabby's family at this point. I don't care how much work he did on that van. That van is not registered to him. But
that's the point we're making, is that he's a narcissist. A narcissist is not thinking like that. When you're doing stuff and you got to cover your tracks, you're not thinking of the logical things to do, because logic doesn't have any business killing her.
The moment that he murdered Gabby, that van was a stolen vehicle. Mm-hmm. Her credit cards were stolen because she's gone. So everything that they had together, he stole. He stole that van.
Nay said they were working on it before. Listen to me. I don't know what's the truth or not. I don't claim to know everything. So I would try to get an understanding of that before you start getting jiggy in the chat. Somebody is saying they saw him and his father working on the van when he got back.
No, they were working on the father's camper, which was the
or
getaway.
camper, whichsoever. So it's
The
not the
father,
van.
when Brian got back, the father brought him a brand new white camper. That's in his driveway right now.
Okay,
They put,
that's what I said.
and
Let's clear
all of a sudden, they go camping. The mother, the father, and the son go camping, and then Brian disappears.
That's okay, Pink. Okay, so that's what I need to get an understanding. So the van was not being worked on or converted; it was his camper, right?
The father bought a brand new white camper
Okay, so
to
let's
go
get
in the back of the pickup
clear that
truck,
up. Okay,
which I believe Brian was in it when they took off for the 3 days.
okay. Well, let's
That's
let's clear
where
that up.
they
Okay.
placed him. Okay. Then they went on to Atlanta to speak to the lawyer who flew in from New York, and I'm pretty sure the lawyer asked him, "Where's Brian?" And they probably said he's been placed.
Mm-hmm.
He's all right because the family's not acting like Brian's missing, not at all.
Well, see,
Not at
that's why I told everybody, stop listening to all that gossip and he said, she said. I always tell people this, every story I cover, I say the same thing every time I do this. Start at the beginning of the story. Your truth is at the beginning. I'm not going to hire a lawyer for a dead man or woman.
Well, right off the bat, if Gabby was missing and the cops came looking for her, and they said, "Well, here's our lawyer," right off the bat, you saying, "Yo, this guy's daughter's dead." Why would you need a lawyer? Why would you
Well,
need a
that's
lawyer
what I tell
right
people.
off the
I
bat?
tell people the evidence is sitting right there in front of you. That was day one after
Day
he
one.
came back. That was self-evident. I'm not going to go get a lawyer for my child if I think my child is dead.
Day one, they should have had cop cars on that house watching this guy. When they lawyered up day one, they should have put a couple of cops on that house
Yeah.
to keep an eye on this guy because this don't make sense. Why would you need a lawyer? This is your fiance. You don't want to talk about it. It doesn't take a bunch of monkeys to figure out how to eat a fucking banana. Okay, just if they put a couple of cops on that house, they wouldn't be going through all spending all this money looking in the damn Everglades in the woods.
Yeah.
Okay, that was the complete red flag right off the day one when they lawyered up and the girl lived in the damn house.
Okay. Well, let's talk about out west. Let's backtrack. There's an issue of some flying back and forth, disposing of things from the house. I brought commentary the other day of two women who are now verifying that they had Mr. Laundrie in their car 2 separate times on August 29th hitchhiking. What do you think about that?
That was the cover up.
Yeah, I know.
That was the alibi. But all that did was construct a timeline. So all that movement he did was he just set himself up for the timeline.
Yeah, that's what I told people. He was getting it ready because you got to count how long it takes to get from Wyoming back to the bottom of the state. So naturally, that's the stealing of the money. I got to have gas to put in the car. I told people, stay woke. I got to put money. I got to eat to travel.
He's telling people that he was out camping for days. Yeah. What sort of man leaves his woman in the woods alone? Okay, he's gonna say that his alibi is that they had a fight. He did his own thing, and he came back, and she was gonna be gone. Okay, that was gonna be the alibi, but it didn't work because they found the body. So, what sort of man goes camping with a woman and leaves her? He constantly left her. He left her the day of the fight. He went to the hotel. It should have been the way she should have went to the hotel. He should have slept in the goddamn truck.
He should have just never went on that trip to begin with. She should have.
She really wanted to be a blogger. She really wanted to see her channel grow.
Yeah, okay. Exactly.
She really wanted to do it. She couldn't do it alone. She figured she would do it with this guy. She was
kind of feeling like she was sort of beholden to him because he was her man and father.
Tina, you know what they say, pressure bust pipes. And this was a relationship that had a lot of pressure that we just didn't know about.
Yeah, and
he was freaking out. He was
in Alabama. The only reason why I bring it up is because I heard that he likes going on the Appalachian Trail. The Appalachian Trail, I believe, starts in Alabama. I'm not sure.
Brian is eating every day. He's got fresh water, and he probably got a bed in the TV set. Okay, the boy is not in the woods. He's been dead by now.
Oh,
He's been placed. He has been placed. So and he was flipping out. He's fighting at restaurants. He's fighting Gabby. The boy was off the hook.
yeah. It's just,
It was time for Gabby to go home. That's probably the day he flipped out at that restaurant was the day he took her out. He was flipping out. The 27th. Gabby lost her life the night of the 27th in that fucking van, or the 28th.
yeah, there's like a 3-day window.
Right after that fight at this Piggly Wiggly joint, wherever it's called, they went back. That's why the van was parked the way it was, because he committed a crime. It shouldn't have been parked there for days.
Okay.
So whenever they came back, that van was parked wicked, and they were supposed to be parked that way. You know, he did the crime in the van and carried her little body out to the woods and hoped that the animals would do their part, and he could get away with it, and she could just be another missing person.
Yeah.
That's just my theory. I could be wrong, but I think I'm right.
Yeah. Gail Jordan, let me explain to you about the van, because you all are starting to get jiggy now. So this is why she can't explain stuff to people. That is all the way across the country. Driving around Florida, New York, around the corner, 1 hour away is not the same as driving 2-3 days across country. Everybody's different. I think she wasn't familiar with interstate driving, that long haul driving. As I had a trucker up here the other day trying to explain, that's not regular driving for days. Driving for 2 hours. Some people can't even drive 2 hours. So driving all the way from New York to there, Florida to there, it's all the same. It's a long way. And everybody's not cut out for that type of driving. And most women probably don't like long haul driving. You probably got some men that don't like long haul driving. So I don't think it's a matter of she didn't like the van. She wasn't comfortable driving a long distance. It's a difference. Lord have mercy. Yikes. I don't know.
No, it's a sad story all around. And,
Yes.
I send all my blessings out to the family and those who lost their spouses and children. You know, it's a cruel world that we live in.
Yeah, it
You
is
know,
very cruel. That's
we
why you
got-
have to pay attention to the signs of people in general. It doesn't really matter if it's somebody you're dating. It could be just an acquaintance you met. When you feel like you're being taken advantage of, just cut your losses and keep it moving.
Sometimes it's the people that are close to you that do the most damage. It's crazy.
Yeah.
There's people in your unit, in your home, people that say they're gonna marry you and love you, that do the most damage. It could be a
I
father
agree.
a father molesting his daughter. The people that it could be an uncle molesting a little boy in the house. It's the people that are closest to you that do the most damage. It's a cruel world we live in. You have to keep your eye on your children 24/7. You got to speak to your children 24/7 about everything, because Uncle Bob may not be Uncle Bob. He may be Pervert Bob. Okay, so
And
Brian
usually they are.
and usually they are. And if your child says, "Oh, he touched me," or he looked at me, or he said something, you got to react right away. That person is not a family member anymore. That person's got to go and get locked up as fast as humanly possible.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Be careful who people.
Yeah.
Only love those who love you back, and it's got to be real love. It can't be, oh, I got her and she loved me, but I gotta go mess with other women because it's like that. That's not love.
Yeah.
Love goes both ways. Love goes hand in hand. Love is magical. It's like birth. It happens.
Yes. Catherine has a question. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Love is not constructed. All right. It's like birth. It happens magical, and people know when it's right and when it's wrong. And some people stay in it when it's wrong because it's either for finances or because they don't have nowhere else to go.
Yes.
Or because they believe this person loves them. They just been drinking. They don't know what they're saying. And tomorrow they'll be okay. Or they just straight narcissists and they agree what they want to do in this sort of slave type relationship. and you become brainwashed.
Yes.
You keep eating the same thing the same time. You think it's good. If you believe an egg tastes like a steak, that egg is gonna taste like a fucking steak.
Yes.
But at the end of
Uh,
the day, it's a
Well,
fucking steak. It's not an egg.
yeah. Let me address
can I
Catherine in
say
the chat.
something, New
Excuse
York
me.
Key?
What do you guys think about the FBI going in today and taking out stuff for DNA? Do you think they know something that we don't and haven't released it? Yes. Yeah. Possibly, Catherine.
Yeah, because the mother's had created a fake Gabby account. A girl outed it on TikTok.
Oh
So
Lord, here
they
we go.
know the mom and them are helping. And that is a fact. The TikTok's still up. If I was on a
Whose mother you
regular
speaking of? You
computer, I
speaking of
could
Mr.
link
Laundrie's
you.
mother? Who are you speaking of, sweetheart? Mr. Laundrie's mother?
Yes,
Okay.
Roberta.
Okay. Well,
Yep.
I think it's a combination because naturally, law enforcement does not tell us what they're doing as to preserve an investigation. It's either to have information in case he does pop up dead, or if they found the dead body, and two, what was left on the decedent at the time of death, the remnants around the body, such as anything left, cigarette butts, soda pop can, bottle, clothing, because that's the whole point. We do not know the state of the body of the young lady when they retrieved her out of there. So if there were clothes, they would naturally test her clothing to see if any type of DNA from Mr. Laundrie was on her clothing. That is to prove that he was the last one with her, just so people, because some people can say, well, who knows what happened? He took her van, got mad at her, because I'm going to go to that too. He got mad at her, took her van. She was out there. Anybody could have came and did something to her. Okay, so that's what the DNA would be for, to prove who was the last person in her vicinity at the time of death. And naturally, if Mr. Laundrie is found decedent himself. And let's talk about that. They say he locked
He's
her out
not
of the
dead.
van. Well, just saying, if he comes up dead, sweetheart, if he comes up dead. The thing about the van, him locking her out, naturally, that's messed up. Why are you locking someone out of their own van?
All right, because that's what that's called a power move. Okay, he was trying to control her by fear. Okay, she knows that van was her lifeline. That was her van. That's her apartment. That's her house. She bought it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hey,
so
New York King, can I interrupt you a second? Did you
now
catch
go
in the
ahead.
video camera footage when the cop said the cop told her that she could take her van and they were going to put him up, and she said, "But I don't normally drive the van," and it was her van. She doesn't
Because he could,
normally drive it. That means
I didn't hear
she
that.
was
What was
giving
that during?
control to him.
right,
Listen,
right. Because
slow down, slow
she was
down, slow down. Was that in that audio with the cops?
Yes,
no, no,
ma'am.
no. She was afraid to
Did you say
leave.
yes? Wait, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute, New York. Did you say what? I can't hear you, Pete. Did you say yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because
It's on the
I didn't
video
watch
with the
that whole
cops.
video because it's like an hour and 17 minutes long. I've only played a portion of that, 20 minutes of that on the
I did, and
channel
it broke
because
my
it's
heart.
long.
It
So you're
broke
now
my
saying that
heart.
she said that she didn't like to drive it. Period. That's what you're saying.
She said, "I don't usually drive it." That
Okay.
Yeah,
means he's
he was
usually in
driving.
control.
See, I was
He's
hoping that
usually
she
in.
drove her
Correct.
own car.
Okay.
Her van, and she doesn't usually drive it. That's a
All
Okay.
right.
power
This is what
move
I'm
there.
saying. It was a power
Y'all
move
get
because
going.
he wants to be in control of everything by fear. A lot of men do this to women. They want to be in control by fear. How many girls have been kicked out of a guy's car? Just get out of my car, okay?
Okay.
Because he was in control,
Sad.
and she was afraid because she's already been brainwashed by this guy. But this is false love by
Okay.
punishment. Listen
Okay.
to what I say, ladies. False love
Okay.
by punishment.
Hello?
Okay.
Yes, I hear you, Fox. How you doing? Hold on.
One sec.
So false love by punishment. So he's punishing her, and she believing it's just some sort of love, and she didn't want to be separated from her partner. So therefore, she was fighting to get back in her ship, her van, which is her.
Okay.
She's fighting to get back in there. Okay,
Okay.
it was a sad scene of a person who was in control of this young lady, and he put on a persona like she's attacking me. He played
Okay.
victim.
Yes.
I have
Okay,
a
and she took the weight.
Okay. I have Fox here joining me. Fox, where you calling from, sweetheart?
Dallas.
Thank you.
I have a question. Um, what if he so in a cabin, like a cabin,
Okay.
so like, do you think he's in a cabin, so like a safe house? Okay, safe
I don't
house.
say when I think of let me mention that for a minute because some of you all got a little jiggy with that word. I don't think many of you know what a safe house is. When I think of safe house, I think of things as far as the FBI hiding you out. I don't think of a safe house like just a place to hide out, but I guess you can use safe house for that. So when you say safe house, what are you saying? A safe house that they've constructed, he and his family and friends to hide him out? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
I don't know. Because I do believe his parents are involved as far as getting him gone. As far as where he is, I do not know. But I do not believe he's in the reserve. Let me say that. I do not believe he is in the swamp, wilderness, or whatever word you want to call it. I do not.
Miss Angela, I was going to
Yes.
ask New York King, had he seen or you seen where they had found the multiple businesses in New York that his dad owns? They
Okay,
have
somebody's
lots of
saying that in the
money.
chat. 1121 is saying they have a lot of properties.
Yeah,
Yes.
my understanding is
I
that
can't see chat because I'm on a cell phone.
Okay, that's fine.
they
That's fine.
do.
Nobody can. If you're up on the panel, you can't see.
From what I hear,
Have
they
you
do have
heard
a
that
lot.
when he said New York King? Have you heard that? Because I heard you talking about it earlier. The neighbor across the street watched them pack up that new camper, not the van, the new camper, pack it up fully, and the family leave on the trip and come back with the same new camper. They believe that they bought two identical campers.
Okay.
This boy
Somebody in the chat
doesn't
said
know
his
how to
relatives that
survive.
own a yacht company, along with them having boats. He could be anywhere by now. He had plenty of time to get away before they even reported him missing. Yes, Catherine. That's probably the gist of the story. They had resources to get him gone.
They had what, 9 days? He had 9 days ahead.
Well, 9 days, you can be anywhere in 9 days. You could be
Yes.
several places in 9 days.
Oh,
Quite
yeah, let me tell you, I travel. I do travel the world. I could be someplace. I could be across the world within 24 hours.
yeah.
But what I'm saying is that the parents was 100% behind it. That search through the woods was something created by the parents, just like the son was
Yes,
creating
Michael. I agree.
all these little, all these little hitchhiking charades. They planting cars. They put out these charges on him now so that the parents can stop the fucking shenanigans. So
Yes.
now, whenever
Yes.
we find out about y'all helping him, because they couldn't do that before,
Yeah, you're right.
they got a
Now,
federal
he was
warrant.
comfortable living at home. This is what I keep trying to tell everybody. Stick to what you see and have seen from day one. He was living at home with his mother and father, with a girlfriend, not being self-sufficient or self-reliant on his own. That speaks volumes of who he is and how he had been living.
Oh yeah, he's a mama's boy, and so this can't. Wherever they place
Yes,
him at,
hold on,
this can't.
sweetheart.
I don't care if he gets a burner phone or whatever. You got the
Yeah,
federal
that's fine.
government on it.
Yeah, that
You
doesn't
got the
matter.
federal government on it. So all these properties that they do have, they're going to be checked out. Okay, I guarantee you that there is a murder warrant. Okay, but they're trying to ease it in there. They're trying to make sure they got enough evidence out that house to build a proper case. Because when they feds got you, they got you. There's no
Yes,
way to beat these charges. When they got you, there's no way to beat them with
yes,
best lawyers in the world. They got
yeah.
you. They got the timeline. They got the credit card usage. They got they got you on tape. When you went to the ATM machine, they got your fat face on there, getting the money out of the machine. They got you good.
Okay, okay.
It ain't like local court where you could just buy your way out of it and say, well, it wouldn't be. No, they got you
Yeah,
chain by
yeah,
chain, but they got the whole story.
yeah, yeah. Well, you picked the
Did
wrong girl. That's the point of the story. Picked the wrong girl.
they find out where he got withdrew the money from? Like, or how did he get the
He needed fuel. He needed fuel.
Yeah, I told people that. He had to travel a long way. So it's really not even a question about the credit cards. He had to get home. He drove her van a days away. You got to have money. And
He
then
needed.
it's looking like she
Well,
was
he's
the one.
got a brother. He's got a brother in New York.
Yeah,
Well, he
yeah,
needed fuel. He needed
yeah. But he
fuel,
had to get out of there. Right, right.
and this is the control factor. He had the PIN numbers to her credit cards
Yeah, he
and her
had that.
debit
Yeah,
card.
of course he had that.
So he controlled everything that she did. So
Yeah, yeah,
after he
yeah.
murdered her, he took the money. Why not? She's not alive anymore anyway. So he
I
took the
told her,
money.
you're right. 4 grown people in one house. Yes, I don't condone that. Everybody lives differently, but this is the reason why we have a narcissist on the run. He was enabled by his parents. He was also a control freak with a young woman. Now we have a young woman dead. I've said it. You enabled your son to be this monster.
I play
I
for
would have had neither one of them living in my house. Neither one.
I play
Ma'am,
for
can't stay here. That's how I feel.
I play
No.
for Gabby's family. I mean,
Well, thank you, Fox. I appreciate that. And I'm sure they appreciate that, honey.
I mean,
We
if
all do. It was terrible.
Yes, it's very terrible.
someone will hunt, bind down, live or killed. You know, someone might.
Oh, do something to him if they see him, you saying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
they might. Somebody recognize him, they might. Well, you all know there's rumors about him being on going to Canada, this and that, being seen here and there. Do you believe the sightings of him in Canada?
No.
I mean, like how? Hold on, like how? Like the bottle, right? How the heck he could cross the bottle? Because
Yes,
the
and
bottle-
and that's what I want to say about that too. For those who've never traveled to Canada, wake up. You ain't crossing over there. No kind of way.
Let me tell you something.
Because
Everybody.
I know I was detained in my own country coming out of Toronto into Buffalo. So I know, and this was right after 9/11.
But if you want to go the
I had to explain myself thoroughly.
like there's a lot of I know that there was like a lot of immigrants that were being
Yeah.
kicked out of the US, so they came across to Canada, but they didn't come through the legal border. They came through the woods and known
Yeah, I haven't heard of anybody going to Canada. That's new. I haven't heard that.
come to Canada, but
No, I don't think he's in Canada. No.
No.
You know,
Not once
you know
his
why?
name got released. Once his name got released, no, I know.
There's a nationwide manhunt. So what we see in the States, they see in Canada. So it's not like you could just cross the border and live in Canada. And people think, oh, if I get to Canada or Mexico, that I'm free. Don't you know that Mexico will extradite your ass too with the Fed?
Alicia's asking about her YouTube money. Her YouTube money will be on her in her bank account, sweetheart. So whoever has access to her bank account, that's where the YouTube money will be.
You can make it to some of these foreign countries and think you're not extradited, but once the feds are getting involved,
Yes.
you can get extradited. You can't be walking around Canada or Mexico. Mexico will give him right
I
out.
think the sister's older, yes, the one that spoke, yes. Do I think he's alive? Anybody on the panel?
I have a.
Alive.
He's alive.
Okay. Tina, you think he's alive?
yeah.
Yeah.
Fox, you think he's alive?
Yep. I have a question.
Go ahead, sweetheart.
The sister help him too.
Why you say that?
You know, when she talk on the news, she's like,
Yeah, sorry, yes.
she's kind of like, something to me is not right.
Okay, about her talking.
Yeah.
Why? She's the only one that's spoken.
Yes.
Okay. Well, she said she hadn't seen him. I brought commentary the other day. I played audio from that news interview, and she said she hasn't seen him since he got back. So, what are you saying? You don't believe that?
Nope.
Okay.
I mean, I don't want to be like, I don't know what's the
truth
truth
of everybody involved. Okay, well, I'll ask everybody on the panel. Do you think the sister saw her brother, didn't see the brother when he got back?
The sister, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Pink, you go ahead
You
and
go
answer
ahead.
first.
I don't know. I don't
Okay,
know.
so Tina, what
I
do you think?
can't say.
Tina, go ahead.
If I don't understand the question,
I can't hear you.
I don't understand the question.
Do you
All right,
think
all
his
right,
sister saw
I'll pull it
her
out.
brother?
I'll call it out. This plot was constructed by Brian, his mother and father. The sister's too stupid. She talked too much.
Oh
So
my God, this ain't
they left her out of it.
damn.
That's a
One
fact.
of these and his sisters are addicts. Damn it, where you
Oh
getting
my
that from?
God.
Where you all
That's
get?
a
Hey,
fact.
let me talk about this for a minute. Everybody, just listen for 1 second now. See, this is what I don't like about these type of conversations because it starts to get just a little wicked. Why now you all want to say they were into drugs? The girl appeared to be a drug addict, Miss Gabby. So why now you all want to say, some of you, that you think they were in drugs, fighting over drugs? I don't do that. And as far as the sister being on drugs, I can't say that. I don't know her. I don't even think about these people. Drugs is the farthest thing from my mind at this point, from what I've seen. Farthest thing from my mind.
Is that your perceptions now? Like, is that or
That's just I'm just listening to stuff in the chat. 2 people made a comment about it in the chat. Somebody said something about the sister being on it. The sister being on drugs. What does that have to do with anything?
Nothing. I mean, it's
Nothing.
like
Nothing.
the problem is, you know, the mom, Brian's mom, and the dad, they know.
I think Gabby vapes though. Really? Oh God. Okay. Ooh, Lord have mercy. Okay. And does that got anything to do with why somebody would kill her? Y'all gotta stop this. Don't do this. Don't do this. Come on now. Y'all too old for this.
if they were vaping, they wouldn't be all murderous.
Why are they going into shrooms? I just glanced at chat.
Now they're smoking something in the van. Really? Wow.
This girl was not a. I'm not gonna buy that this girl was a. She was wholesome. Her downfall, I don't know what trauma preceded her early in life, but I know for myself and years of trying to fix men, finding men that I think I love them and I fix them, but you end up you bend into you just about are broken into. I mean, that's what I've experienced, and I can put myself in her place.
Okay.
And I'm older now, so but at 22, I can surely see myself probably ending up in the same way if it's just violence has increased so much since I was 22.
Well, Gabby said to Brian, why do you got to be so mean? And that was a very powerful statement. That's showing she was trying to keep this shit together.
Yeah.
But he kept acting out.
Yeah. Well,
So
I think there's a problem with him already. I think we already know that.
That was a powerful statement. Why are you keep being so mean? Basically, she's saying, why are you trying to be so mean to me when I'm trying to get this right? So he was off the chain in the beginning.
They had problems.
They had problems
before they got in the van, before the van was found. He's been a problem. Maybe he didn't like stuff she said. He said, we don't know because we don't know them. So that's why I try to tell people. I don't try to say who said what, who sent whom off. She already told you she had little quirks about herself. Naturally, he had quirks about himself. They were 2 incompatible people. Bottom line.
Well, she was living in a narcissistic household with him and his mother.
They didn't jive. So, and that's the reason why she's no longer here.
Well,
she stayed. She rode the ride.
How he did the cops. He could probably manipulate his parents. His parents were probably like, "Why are you always setting him off?" and blaming her, and her believing in herself that she was the one setting him off.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. She was the third wheel in the house, and they Brian is not that bad a person, because they're all it's all witchery in that house. It's all false smoke. It's all bullshit they were feeding her. It was fake fucking love. They were giving this chick. She was just around because she believed in the power of love. But this family don't have love in their fucking heart. They supposed it's fucked up. That's their only son, but the only son fucked up and killed somebody. He needs to turn himself in.
Yes, I think he does need to turn himself in. I'm 2 hours at the top. I'm not trying to go over too long because I want everybody to be able to enjoy the live. But I guess this is just once again a very terrible, terrible story of a young lady who got involved with somebody. It was not working, obviously, and she stayed. Sadly, she stayed, and then tragically, she was murdered. So let's go here. What's going to be the end result to the story?
He's gonna get caught, or somebody. If somebody, especially
Seal.
when some of the crime scene pictures get distributed,
Mm.
somebody may take him out
That's
No,
what
he
I
will.
think too.
themselves, because I would be afraid of him.
You know, like dog the banner huddle.
Mhm.
I mean, everyone is looking for him right now.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, but Dog's goofy. Him saying he could, the fact that Dog lost all credibility when he said he gave him a 6 as a survivalist. That boy could not kill a squirrel and skin it more than I can fly.
No,
Okay.
and not only
No.
that, he can't. He's afraid to go to jail. So now
That's the whole
we got.
point. Because wilderness or not, he stayed in the wilderness for 3 months, 4 months. I don't ride on that. I ride on what I see and what was said to the news. He lived with his mommy and daddy with this girl. That's what I think on.
He's not a
Miss
wilderness.
Angie, but I
And
also noticed
her money was taken off her card. Stay woke. Money was
He's
taken
not a
off her
wilderness.
card.
He's
So
not
that
a
means
wilderness type of
you
guy.
are once again self-reliant on somebody else, which was her funds. See, I tell people I stick to what's been said in the story, not Pookie Ray Ray's version, Bubba's version. I don't rock like
All
that.
right, all right. Let me tell you why he's not a wilderness type of guy. Okay, he went to the hotel while Gabby slept in the truck. He needed to hitchhike. Okay, this is not a wilderness type of guy. Wilderness type of guys don't hitchhike and sleep in hotels. Okay, eventually one or two things are gonna happen. He's gonna fucking surrender.
So what do you say?
Somebody,
So how do you know? So how do you know she didn't go to the hotel? See, that's the rumor that came out a week ago. Is
no,
that her daddy or somebody told her about going to a hotel. So that's why it sounds like verification. Is there verification
no.
that she went to
No,
the
I'm talking
hotel
about
or not?
there's video of the police dropping Brian off at the hotel.
Okay, but what I'm asking about her, baby, I'm talking about her.
Well, when Brian flew back to the States to mess around with the storage, is when she stayed in a hotel. But she stayed in a hotel till he got back.
Okay.
But he's not a wilderness type of guy.
See,
Is
I got a problem with that too. This flying back and forth stuff.
I don't get it either. There's a lot of twists and turns.
Something's off because you got two people now coming forward, two women are coming forward on the 29th saying they picked him up. So what was he doing?
All right, I'm just saying there's too many restaurants involved. Okay, there's too many coffee shops
that's
involved.
right. That's what I was going to say, New York King. Restaurants. Look
there's-
how many
there's too-
times they were in restaurants.
This is not a wilderness type of guy.
Mhm.
He's not
He's a
going to go
guy.
and hurt himself.
You don't
He's
be
not
going
gonna
to
catch a
town to
rabbit.
eat.
Well, that's
Yeah,
what they were
you gotta
doing. They
go
were
to
stopping
town
in
to
small
eat.
towns and going in places to eat along the way. I mean, I can't tell somebody they can't go eat.
A wilderness type of guy doesn't do these things. He doesn't stay at hotels. He doesn't go to all these fancy restaurants. He doesn't act up in restaurants. He doesn't hitchhike rides because he can't find his way around. Okay,
Yes.
this is not
Laundry
what a
saying
wilderness type of
there's
guy
no
does.
proof he stayed in the hotel. Listen, baby. Somebody saying there's no proof he got dropped off, but they're saying there's no proof he stayed there. Is there?
He's on videotape dropped off the hotel by the police.
Okay, I know, but she's saying okay, so he was dropped off, but we don't see him go in. That's what I guess she's trying to say.
No, they brought him in the hotel and said, "This is Brian, and he's going to be staying here." There's
Well,
a
I'm
video.
gonna put it like this: if she stayed in the van, because as I said, I go by verification only. Let's say she didn't go get a room, which I don't know why she wouldn't. I would have tried to drive off, but that's why I tell people it's a flip of everything. She's not going to drive off because it's too far out, and she'd be afraid to drive that long distance back to New York, Florida, wherever she would have decided to go. It's not. Y'all act like it's around the corner. It's not around the corner. You're all the way in the Pacific, almost the Pacific Northwest. That's a long way if I'm not accustomed to driving that far.
That's what I'm saying about
But it's like they understand that. It's not around the corner.
this whole idea that they're like these experienced van lifers and that they live in bullshit. Because I mean, they eat in restaurants and they're staying in hotels and they're using credit cards and they're like that whole idea that they're these experienced outdoorsmen and they're happy campers is
Somebody's got a good point. What if he took her card put in his backpack when he grabbed it from the van, so she couldn't use it. Very good point.
Nah, he took her credit card after death
Okay.
because he
So
needed to get
somebody's
that.
just throwing it out there because you got to remember, if he locked her out of the van, threw a backpack on her back, we don't know. You don't really know, so you can't really say though. You don't know what he was doing with her stuff. See.
He took her credit
If you're
card.
narcissistic, if you're bold enough to take my backpack and put it on the back of the van and lock me out, because they even said that she was trying to crawl through a window or something.
Yeah, that was a power
I know
move.
what he did with her. Who's to say he wasn't digging in her wallet while she's blogging or taking selfies?
I have a
Well, he
No,
question.
was
He
her
could have
own-
held her stuff hostage. Who's to say he didn't? That's a very valid point. Now that we know what he's about, who's to say he was the one that had her card's ID all along?
he probably did. He probably did, or he
That's
hitchhiked
right.
back to the van to
Right.
get all of that stuff, all that material, so he
What
can make it
happened
go back.
is, he chased her out of a van.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. It's very sad. Well, Lord have mercy. What a mess. What a mess.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call
Thank
it.
you so much. Okay,
All
you
right.
have a wonderful day.
I
Thanks
do
for joining
have
me.
a channel. I do have a channel. It's my name. You guys can go over there, like and subscribe, and I got a
Okay.
channel. It's
Thank
NYC
you
Camp.
so much.
And I appreciate being on your panel. And God
Okay,
bless
thank you for
all
coming
you
over.
beautiful women. And make
Thank
sure
you
that you
so much.
guys stay safe. Keep an
Thank
eye
you.
on your children. And don't let no man manipulate you. Never.
Okay. Thank you
Okay.
so much,
Bye.
Mr. King.
God bless you all.
Okay,
Bless.
bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Cobus.
Bye. Okay. All right. Thank you,
Well-
Fox. You got anything else you'd like to say, Mr. Fox? No?
No,
Okay. Thank you so much for joining me, sweetheart.
you do. Be
Okay.
safe.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye. Okay. Miss Pink, what do you have to
Queen,
say?
was you ready to get off? 'Cause
I
wanted
will,
to talk about
just a
the
little bit.
Alabama
Yeah,
crime rate.
It's 2 hours.
The crime rate. And about you were talking about
already 2 hours,
Cupcake. I followed
I
all
will-
of that.
because I don't want my lives to go for too long, where it takes people so long to watch all the content. What do you want to say about the missing people in Alabama, ma'am?
That is disgusting. I
Yeah.
live in a small county that is really corrupt, and I'm probably about 10 days from leaving this county, thank God. But
Okay.
but it I have a very dear friend, her sister was murdered, and it has been 6 years. There was no television coverage of it. The neighborhood she lived in and the neighbors that surrounded her, it would have been, if the cops would have took any amount of time, this could have been solved ages ago.
Well, I have
And I've tried it.
what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Alabama case, or what are you saying?
It's an Alabama case here in Bibb County, Alabama,
Okay, a case down there.
and a very small county.
What's her
And
name?
She said, "What is her name?"
moment, I don't have her.
Well, she can Google it. She can Google it. I'm sure it'll come up in the Google search.
I know I keep the
Hi,
sisters
certified. Welcome from New
because
York.
it's October. Every October we do a candlelight vigil at where her house was, and I don't have the pamphlet, and it's not with me.
Don't
Right
worry
this
about it.
second in
Don't
my
worry about
brain. You
Don't
know
worry
how your
about
brain files it away. But I just want to say I know firsthand. But then we also have. It's not just. There's just two. It's all over the country, but I
Yes,
realize
it's
that more
everywhere.
and
I
more
don't know.
it's like,
Stipulate just no one place, no one race. It's all the same. There are many people missing in America, and they're missing all over, and they're all different races of people missing and children.
but nobody cares.
Yeah, I just think a lot of people
It's
just have a
like-
problem with African Americans with this case is because how it took off. Because what you have to remember is what I told everybody following the content. Nobody knew the girl was even missing until he got back and the parents had been trying to locate her. So you're talking about at least 11 days they went and didn't even report her missing. See, I have a problem with that. I think you should report her missing when you had no more contact with her within a day. You give a person a chance to need to plug their phone up if they're camping. Maybe they didn't have a charge. You see where I'm going? But after a day, I'm not hearing from you. I'm gonna file a report. They filed a report on it was the 11th. You hadn't talked to her since the 25th. That's a long time. That's a long time. That's a long time. And she's out in the middle of nowhere with a nut, a damn lunatic.
But he had her family fooled. His family never saw any of those red
Yeah, but
flags
baby, that's not that's
because
not
I
that's not
seen
the point.
somebody in the chat say it. The
Listen, that's not the
abuser
point. That's not the point.
always
It
can
doesn't matter.
manipulate.
It doesn't matter if I like you or not. That has nothing to do with me not being able to reach my kid. I don't gotta like you. I gotta like you, not like
Truth.
you're not answering your phone. Think about what I'm saying. 11 days
I know.
from the 25th. That's a long time to wait for Gabby to call you back. Think about what I'm saying. Because you don't know what the parents have said to these people in 11 days. You don't know what they said to them. And if they're not talking now, you think they answered their phone? You think they didn't double back? See, I asked the questions that nobody asked. What did they tell him while he's out there? Hey, her parents are calling. See, nobody's ever asked that. Nobody's ever asked that. Where are they calling these people from the 25th to the 11th? What did they tell them? What did they tell the Petitos, the parents? Because don't you find that strange? My child is blogging, but now she's stopped. So you think they didn't call the Laundrie'S to say, hey, they're not blogging anymore. She's not blogging anymore. Why is that? What's the answer? What's the response? See, I asked all of those questions. Yeah, well.
That I would like to know because when I think of my own daughter who's the same age as Gabby, it makes me. I, I have a location app on her so that even though she's not at home, I know when she leaves her apartment where she goes. If she was to get in it lets me know if she has at what speed she's traveling. I can locate her anytime, day or night. You know, it's just a Life 360 app, and it's just important to me to be able to. I don't have to talk to her every day because she's a college student. She's,
Yeah.
you know, got her life. She's busy, but with that, and I can send a message through it. Um, not advertising, but I'm just saying it's just for me, it's peace of mind because we don't talk every single day
Yeah.
because she is busy with class work and everything. It's a lot. And but I still see I would be like because I have that app. If I seen her location wasn't moving,
Yeah.
I would be so freaked out. I mean, this would be my one. I mean, it's horrible to say, but basically I'm confined to a room already, and I would just have to. He's lucky that his their parents are healthy and rational minded because I'd probably snap and take him out myself
Okay.
if it was my kid. Because I mean, yeah, man, I'm serious. When you live like when you have a chronic illness and you've been isolated and insulated to you a prison cell, it's like, hey, don't mess with my kid, okay? Because I don't care.
He
I know
does
that
have a
sounds insane, but you know what I mean. You get that
Yeah.
passionate about it. I would like to think I would react. I mean, I know I wouldn't really be capable, but our kids mean so much. I just can't imagine. The whole thing makes me sick. It's like with the Summer Wells stuff. All my life, I am an SA survivor from childhood. I've been through therapy. This case triggered me more than anything and set me back years in my therapy. I've had to start back
Yeah. Yeah.
just
Yeah.
because of this case. So I relate to both of these and to so many other cases. And also, that was what my point was going to be earlier about not being ignorant because I am isolated, but the
Okay.
perspective that having a chronic illness that's kept me away from people, the love, the compassion, the understanding, the knowledge that I've been able to find because I do have a MS support group that's online, people from all over the world, every religion, every race. You become one with these people. After 4 or 5 years being in a chat with somebody, you, you start to love people and see people differently.
Right. Yes.
I mean, you're still. Now, I did make the mistake of thinking that because somebody who had a disability and the same one as me could be, it wasn't possible they could be evil, but
Yeah.
yeah, even somebody in a wheelchair can be narcissistic and abusive. They think because my legs still work, they can use the hell out of me. For 6 years of my life, I was in an abusive relationship, and I'm 2 years out, and I'm still not mentally well from it. So,
Mhm.
and this person couldn't walk, never laid a hand on me. It was so verbally abusive
Mhm.
because he couldn't walk and I could, but we have the same disease. It still affects a person. Why do I have to be? That's almost like somebody saying, "Why do you have a handicap cap parking sticker when you still walk?" Because I can walk, but after so far, I start limping, and a little bit farther, I get to where I'm starting to space out, and then I lose vision. There's medical reasons, but I shouldn't have to stop and explain it to every fool. I mean, I've had
Well, I
notes
wouldn't
on my
explain it. You
cars.
don't even need an explanation. You don't have to tell everything that's going on with you to people.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
No, I mean
I
in general.
forgot you're
No,
the
I mean,
state business lady.
I mean in general, period to anybody.
I know. But when you have rude people when you've had that happen to you, like people leaving that on your car,
Mm-hmm.
it just affects you. It's triggering.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think I over explain. That's why I
Well,
like your channel because you're so blunt, you're to the point. You you can refocus somebody, and I need that in my life. So I've been trying to watch you more and more and more.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I had
I mean,
just
I'm not for everybody. Some people like stuff sugar coated to them. I'm not a sugar coat. There's certain times when I'll dance around a subject, but my thing is that's not who I am. So I wouldn't be who I am if I danced around things, if I just pretended to say things that I think people would like. Because either way, you're going to always get a criticism, no matter if you talk about something, you give an opinion, you mention a subject. People just get irate over the smallest of things. But I'm just that type of person. I'm going to mention what's being discussed. If right now they're discussing a lot of brown people, colored people. I don't even like to use color, but that's an old timey white people's word. We'll use that word. Brown people, black people missing. I'm going to discuss that because how can I not discuss it? And that's what's being discussed. And it's not a direct, what I'm trying to say, down what's going on with Miss Petito, but it's a known fact. We have a lot of missing people in America, period, and they're not all white people. So everybody needs a voice.
yes, and they're not getting these big, huge profiles. It's like every
Thank you.
every
Thank you, Congress.
person's life is valuable, and
Well,
everybody deserves.
and that's
And
the point.
okay, I can't give you the facts. Maybe I can look it up, and your next live I can come on. But you may have heard. I think and I don't want to say the wrong county, but it's in Georgia. It was a black lady went to an adult overnight sleepover
Yeah, I know about that story.
with other
Yeah,
women.
I already know.
Okay,
I know
that
about this.
infuriates the living hell out of me.
I know
Can I
about that.
just tell you that?
I
Because
don't.
that,
That's a story that I can't really just give my. I can't say what really happened there. I know some suspicious stuff went on after the fact of a certain person trying to that retrieve personal information from the court building. The Hispanic guy that was dating the white girl whose house she was at. He did some things that makes it look suspicious. He was getting information from the computer about the case itself. I can't really say what happened that night at that house.
well,
I
to
can't
me,
say.
the problem is the county has been, and this was what made my jaw drop. 1984, it had been totally white.
Mhm.
I'm like,
Well, that's a lot of places.
what?
But listen, if you follow my content,
What?
I always bring stats. I don't just sit up here and gab. I bring stats. This country is predominantly white. That's the bottom line. This whole country is predominantly white. So
Well, I
therefore,
must not like most
so
white
therefore,
people because
so therefore, we're in a country that's filled with white people. So naturally, most communities are white because common sense. If you say predominantly the country's white, then that means predominantly the communities are white. See where I'm going?
yeah, but how could you keep a county for that many decades?
You're not listening.
84, I was in high school.
Listen, sweetheart, you're not listening. You can't make somebody go somewhere to live. If a place is predominantly
Disgusting.
white, do you think a lot of people of different races will want to go there if they've heard things? So you have to think about things like that. What's absolutely there? What's there? Are there jobs there? Is it a good economic value there? So see, people go where they can make a living for themselves. So if there's nothing there for this person or that person, then they're not going to go there.
Yeah, but when
And
they took
in America,
that's
in
the
America,
same county the
maybe
bus. There was a big bus thing. Do you know what I'm talking about?
no,
When
I
they
don't.
took a busload of. Okay, I must get up with you some information on that
No, but
because
what I'm saying
the
is
county's
the
disgusting.
whole country, this entire United States is predominantly white. So common sense should tell you there are black people, Asian, Hispanic, all races are not living in certain communities because it is what it is. People go where they want to go and live.
But how
So
can
if it's
people
been
just
white, so if it's been
why?
white since 1912, it's been white since 1960, it's been white since 84. Why do you think it's just automatically going to be some different races of people going there in 2021? They have to have a reason to go there.
It's just I guess that's the part of me that's like
Yeah, there's going to always be some town.
my personal family. Can I my personal family? My except for one side, the abusive side. The I've never had bigotry or racism was not something that's been in my life, and so sometimes it makes me embarrassed to be my race.
Well, we can be embarrassed at being any race because we as people do stupid things. I tell people all the time, I look at everybody the same. I'll talk about white people, I'll talk about black people. That's the thing that people don't know about me because they don't watch my content enough to follow me to know who I really am. I don't really give a damn about too many people. I don't give a damn about you being black or white. If you get on my damn nerve, you get on my nerve. It ain't got nothing to do with your race. I'll talk about your white, I'll talk about your Asian, Jew, Russian. If you're a fool, you're a fool. People are people.
Oh, I love you.
You know what I'm saying? People are people. That's what I tell people. Just when the white people start talking crazy about the black folks and calling them names, I'll say it about the black folks. I'll say it about your white folks. I'll say you white folks racist. I can say you're black folks racist. I can say you're a black fool, you're a white fool. A fool is a fool. The color ain't got nothing to do with it. If you want to use your race as an excuse to be an ignorant person, that's on you. But Queen don't lose no sleep over that. That's what I tell people. I walk by faith. Every day I walk out my door. I don't walk outside saying, I know somebody white gonna say something to me. I know somebody white gonna piss me off. I know somebody gonna piss me off. How about that? Somebody gonna do it. It's not gonna matter about the race. Somebody ignorant gonna say something out of the way because he could. And that's what people don't understand about man. Man does what he wants to do because he can.
Well, to me, that's the problem.
That's the reason why that girl is dead. I tell people stay woke. She dead because I wanted her gone. I ain't got to get your permission. I ain't got to ask for your permission. So see, trouble was in paradise all along. They both rode the ride. And she became the biggest loser. Because she probably
The
wanted to
world
make
is
it work.
run
She
by
wanted
the
to make it work.
1%.
But she wanted to make it work. It didn't work. It didn't work in her favor. It didn't work in her favor.
I thank God I've came through it.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate your content so
Thank you.
much and
Thank you so much.
letting me speak. And
Thank you.
I may research and email you some of that on that. You'll be fired up though. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
The world.
I mean, because I like to expand. I like to be one of those people. I like to educate myself.
Well, you have to educate
and
yourself. See, reading is the key to knowledge. reading is the key to knowledge, and even if you're not a good reader, you can listen. My father told me that a long time ago. Sometimes you have to be quiet and you have to listen. And see, that's something I do in a story. When people spin a story, it doesn't matter if it's a news story. It doesn't matter if you were sitting here talking to me, drinking coffee with me on the phone. I'm going to listen to what you're saying. And I have been told I had the gift of discernment. So I can pick up things that a lot of people don't pick up. See, I pick up a lot of things that most of the people haven't picked up with this story. I've mentioned things just now that nobody's ever mentioned. Basic stuff, such as why did it take so long for somebody to report a missing? See, everybody's talking around the subject. I stick to what's common sense. You see where I'm going?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is the reason why people get missing. They're hoping somebody ain't inquiring. Think about it. They're hoping somebody's not inquiring. So 11 days of being out there with a fool, and you're waiting for this child to call you, text you, post something. That was every minute of her life, you waiting. And I'm not trying to be mean to her parents, but what I'm saying is they were in the middle of nowhere. You can get gone living around the corner from your parents. You're dating the wrong person. You could be single and get gone. See where I'm going? So every minute you waiting for somebody to respond, that's a minute of you not knowing anything. That's a minute of them not
Apparently
getting
you can get gone on a hill with no neighbors.
Well, the point is, that's what I'm saying, is that who knows what could have happened as far as her getting some help. But I still believe she probably wouldn't have wanted to leave because she was out there and she didn't trust driving. That's the only reason why she probably didn't think to say, hell, let me get my damn keys and get the hell out of here. And like I just said, who's to say he didn't have her debit card, personal effects already in his pocket? See, you don't know because you don't know them. See, everything right now is assumption. But you don't know if that boy had her driver license, if he had her debit cards, her Cash App card, her bank cards. You don't know. But you see, he got them now. He got them to get home. And that's what he used that money for. Nobody can tell me different. He used that money, stole that money off those cards to get that van back to Florida. So that leads me to believe he didn't have his own damn money. You mean to tell me you went all the way out there? So I tell people, stay woke. He's telling you everything. You got to listen. He didn't have his own money, or unless he chose not to spend his own money. You mean to tell me he went on a trip with a girl all the way out in the middle of nowhere? He didn't even have $500 on his own damn card, his own bank card. What did he do for a living? You all don't even ask that. What did he do for a living? When was the last time he worked?
Worked at Publix.
Okay, but listen, I'm saying what's been said, though. Nothing has been said about where he worked, what he did, cut grass, mowed grass, picked up cans for a living. You ain't heard nothing. Don't you find that ironic? You've heard nothing about what he did for a living?
I've already worked at Publix and for
Okay,
his family.
I haven't even heard
company.
that. I didn't even hear that. This is my first time hearing that.
And she was and Gabby was a farm tech at the Publix.
A farm. See, I didn't hear that either. I heard she was into nutrition. That's something she said, something about nutrition, and then started.
Yeah, that's
doing
what she studied.
Yeah, but see, I never
Yes,
heard anything else about what she did or schooling. I didn't hear anything else about what he did or schooling. And that's the point of why I keep trying to tell people everything you need to know is at the beginning of a story. All you have to do is listen. You don't need this other garbage. He said, she said, stay woke. If the news reports a story and they don't tell you where somebody worked, think about it. All you keep hearing is he's on the run. He's on the run. FBI went to the house. FBI went to the house. But the one thing you never hear in that storyline, where the hell he worked, what his boss has to say, what the company has to say about him. You understand what I'm saying?
There's people that's shocked. They think he was people that went to school with him. And
yeah, but I'm talking about your employer.
Island.
When people commit crimes, I'm saying, or you're accused of a crime,
Oh.
the first thing you hear is where they worked. You see where I'm going? People will say, oh, right. Yeah, he works here. He's been here for 5 years, 2 years, 6 months. You haven't heard that. I haven't. And I've brought numerous stories in 1 week. And I don't have one story with an employer's commentary in it. Not one. Okay, Nate says they quit their jobs. Okay, that's the point I'm still making, is that you didn't hear of an employer. Okay, so let's go there. If they quit their jobs, what are you going to live off of in somebody else's house?
Mom and Dad have lots of businesses.
Yeah. But that's the whole point of this story is this wasn't a conducive relationship. It wasn't evenly yoked. And I think you know what evenly yoked means.
Yes, ma'am.
This was not an evenly yoked relationship. And people quitting their jobs in a time like this where there's COVID, there's people needing money, you're living off somebody else. How could this have worked? How could they have had a solid life together? How in the hell could these two have gotten married when, one, they don't get along, they have issues, he's got mental anger issues. Now you're factoring in two people don't work and living in somebody else's house, and you think these two are going to be evenly yoked in a marriage? Now imagine had they had children. See, this is why I tell people stay woke. Now imagine had she had
True.
children like him. Yes, a lot of rumors. Plus, that's why I don't repeat stuff that I don't know. People come in the chat all the time saying, Pookie said this, Ray Ray said this, they worked here, they quit here, she did this, they did this. I'm telling you, the sources I bring don't mention nobody's damn occupation. Not one. So that's why I tell people, if you've seen that they're not even telling you that the people had jobs, that should tell you a lot about how they were living and that it was not going to work anyway. How could it possibly work when you don't have two people working full-time jobs? How are you going to sustain a household? It costs to live out here. It's expensive to live. Florida is one of the most expensive states in the union besides New York, Connecticut, and California. So how in the world are you going to live in Florida where the rent is sky high just from blogging? And you all should know that you only get paid by your views per YouTube when you're in a partnership with them at 1,000+ subscribers. And then you put your ads in to get paid through the commercials. But YouTube gets most of that money. They get a partial of your super chats. See where I'm going? You got to have a lot of views to get a nice amount of money. And even with several thousand views, you still won't be making enough to even pay market rent in Florida. That's the bottom line. You're going to have to be up in the 6 digits of views to probably be able to just say, I'm going to live off of blogging alone.
Oh, you couldn't make, even in Alabama, you can't pay rent for, you'd have to have a big channel.
Okay. That's what
65% that YouTube gets off y'all's AdSense?
They get a portion. They get enough. And that's the whole point I'm trying to say is you have to have a whole lot of views in your Cash App and PayPal to live off of it just on that alone and not have a part-time or full-time job is what I'm saying. And the fact that he didn't work anywhere and she was in between whatever she was doing, all I'm saying is it wasn't a conducive life for two people living in the state of Florida. And I just leave it at that.
Well, I just think it's all awful.
It is awful. It is awful. But I thank you for joining me, Miss Pink. I'm going to get out of here after you.
Okay, I thank you too. Oh, and I was going to tell you, you were talking about names. My and I don't mind people knowing it. My real name's Ramesha, so.
Yeah, but don't say nothing else after that. Don't say your last name. Please don't do that. I tell people don't.
I'm not going to.
But don't use your full name on YouTube. The worst mistake you can ever make.
I don't even use my real name in most things.
Facebook, I tell people that don't use your name because a lot of people are using a real name on YouTube and they've been doxxed and stalked and followed, and then you use that same name.
I don't use it on Facebook or anything.
See, what they do is they follow you out of YouTube to Facebook just from a comment. And it's not even worth the trouble. So I tell all the people that's on YouTube, if you're going to be a regular commenter and you're going to be jumping on people's panels to talk, give your opinion, somebody's not going to like what you have to say. So don't ever use your government name. It's not even, I'm telling you, it's not even worth the hassle of people stalking you in your inbox. But that's the world that we live in. We have sick people like that, and they don't have anything to do but stay on social media all day. That's where all these hypotheses and all this old conspiracy theories come from. And every story I talk about, it's always human trafficking, the cartel, the Illuminati. It's always the same damn conspiracy. And I always tell them, you could talk about any story, and somehow the Illuminati's involved. It's human trafficking. It's this. It's like, Every story is not about that. Every story is not about cloaks and daggers, people chanting with long robes on at night. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's about
just evil people.
It's just, that's all it's about. That's all it's about. But I thank you for joining me.
What? I thank you so much for having me.
Okay,
Have a
all right.
great
Okay, I hope you
morning.
have a great week. Okay, thank you, sweetie.
Good,
Bye.
good night.
Good night. All right. I want to thank you all for joining me. Thank you for following the content. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you want to donate to the channel, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. Thank you all so much for being up with me this late morning. I came on late because I had to rest up last night. But that's the latest information coming out of Florida. In New York, Miss Petito has been laid to rest yesterday in New York. The FBI has gone back to the Laundrie's house to retrieve DNA from Mr. Laundrie. I can only assume it's pertaining to Miss Petito's death and gathering evidence, and perhaps to if indeed Mr. Laundrie is deceased and or becomes deceased. And also, right now, many people, African-American people, and also other races are curious to why outside races that are non-white are not getting the just due of being recognized in local and national media to missing persons and children. We have a lot of African-American, Asian, Hispanic, Indian people who are not being recognized as missing. And as I tell people, I do not know how they choose their stories to get them to the news, but each affiliate feeds off another sister affiliate. So that's how our news travels. That's how our news travels. And the producers, they pick and choose what stories that are going to make the news. But we as people can get the word out because we have social media galore. So we can push the stories that the news don't. We can push those stories. Whether you're Asian, Jew, Russian, Black, Hispanic, whatever your denomination, race, background is, doesn't matter. We can get the word out. If the news won't talk about it, we can talk about it. And that's the best thing about having a platform on social media is that if there's something going on in this country and we're not hearing or seeing it on the news, we can push it if we like. We can get the word out. Thank you all for joining me. God bless all of you. Have a safe week. When I get more information pertaining to this Miss Petito's case and the hunt for Brian Laundrie, I will be back on with more information. God bless you. Hope to hear from you soon and see you soon. This is Everyday Shenanigans. Thank you.